Was Nikulish Nido? Was Nikitoli Boholo? Hinging Sai Hola la 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 la. Ah, yes. Yes. Rindu shingalo nakar pishnidro libudi. How's everybody doing? Welcome to yet another edition of Abandoned Hope. I'm your host, T to the J to the K, the TJK, the TJK, if you will. See that Jedarke is in here. I see that David Asdas is in here, saying I've gone mad. I see that No Clue B is in here. I see Abby Danger is in here, remarking that this is the kind of quality content that he or she pays for. Cool. Some people say I'm making more sense than I ever have, so that's a good thing, right? Yeah, because if there's anything I hate in life, it's not making enough sense, and so that's why I try to make dollars instead. I think. Brilliant words, TJ. Brilliant words. More brilliant than 1,000 poems written by the greatest poets to ever live in all of the universe. Yes. Yo, TJ, this is Bad Movie Guy from the Alabama Meetup. You gonna watch after last season? I don't know. Did you watch Death Stalker? Did you? Did you, sir? Kaladin Stormblessed. Did you watch The Death Stalker? I'm a she. Yeah, right. No one believes in you. Everyone knows that this is an all-penis show. I honestly don't think you charge us enough for this content. You know what? You're right. I shouldn't even start this show until I have $1 million. Until then, I should just be like, where's my $1 million? Where's my $1 million? Where's my $1 million? Proud Patreon supporter since 1909. I see you did not watch Deathstalker, so fuck you. I don't have to do nothing you say. I thought we shared a special moment, but we did not. What you drinking there, TJ? This is inadvisable Red Bulls at 8:40 p.m. And my wife is probably going to be like, "Why the fuck are you drinking Red Bull at 8:40 p.m.?" But the reason why is because I don't want to fall asleep midstream. I don't want to I mean, you guys are boring as fuck. So, I mean, obviously, if I'm sitting here subjecting myself to you, I need some sort of stimulant to stay awake. Because you guys are not very stimulating. You know what I mean? No offense to you. Hey, TJ, I'm the guy who shivved you at the Alabama meetup. Did you watch Bum Fights 2? No. I don't remember being shivved there. I have a vagina, but it's in my safety deposit box. That's a good place to keep it. Trust Paul Moore. I don't want to. Where's eggs 3 bricks for? No. 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 I don't do it. I don't do that no more. That's not my fucking bag, baby. To quote Austin Powers, which I watched the second one a few days ago. I do I have one of them letterboxed accounts now. Might as well fucking pimp that while I'm kind of trying to come alive. I don't want to start covering stories until I feel like I've worked out because like the first fucking 20 minutes of these shows are always dog shit. So I figure might as well just like overtly let them be dog shit so that by the time I actually get into the groove of things, which hopefully will kick in eventually, by that time, hopefully I'll be good, you know? But I do have a letterbox now. I don't know if you guys like movies or whatever, but I do that. I do the movie site. Here, I'll show you. Yeah, that'd be here. Just switch that. Yeah. So, like, I got my films here and shit. My favorite, you can put your favorite films up on the top part. And I've been, like, I have a thing, I'm trying to review every movie that I've ever seen in my entire life. So that's kind of where I'm at this point. And I've only had this for, like, a few days, not even a week. Let me see. When did I start this? I started it on 18th of May. So that was what? That was Monday? That was Saturday. Okay, I guess I've had it for nearly a week then. But I've already got fucking 4 pages worth of reviews, so, you know. You ever want to know my opinion on any particular motion picture, you know, there it is. I like it because I can pretend that I'm some snooty film critic and get paid. But I don't even have to like. I don't even have to turn in something with like a particular word count or anything. I can go like super in depth. Although I would never go super in depth, but I could if I wanted. Or I could just write 2 paragraphs like I did for this. Or I could just write a single sentence, like my Back to the Future sentence. I just called it the best movie ever made about trying not to have sex with your mom. You know? Not that there's many movies about that, but, you know. Your reviews are 20 times more coherent than Uwe Boll's, though. Well, so what? You know? Uwe's got his own special thing. Is it Uwe or Uwe? God damn it, I talked to him and he fucking told me, and I've already reverted back to not knowing. What a fucking stupid son of a bitch. It's called Letterboxd. It's letter, you know how that's spelled, and then box, and then the letter D. Letterbox D, but it's pronounced Letterboxd, I believe. Oh, some of our patrons will remember this motherfucker, the Misty Green Sky, you know? So there you go. And you can fucking go and you can organize. You can, like, if you're just like if you don't even want to write reviews, but you just want to, like, have a list of movies that you're intending to watch, you can create, like, a watch list on here. Or you can just give them star ratings, but not necessarily write something up. Or you could just give them likes. So you just like, here's a list of movies I like, you know? So that's like pretty much what that's about. Or you could just keep track of the movies you've watched. Like, I've been keeping track since I joined the site of the movies I've watched. Now this I went back and because I remember I saw this opening night. I've obviously seen movies this year beyond these. But this is just the stuff I've watched in the last week, basically, other than Endgame, which I watched on opening night. So it started on the night that I watched The Witch, and then I watched Tourist Trap, and then I watched Sleepaway Camp, and then I watched Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, and then I watched The Incubus, and then I watched Logan's Run. So it's pretty much what I do. I pretty much just watch bad movies from the 70s and 80s and then write about them. That's my thing now. It's my new shtick. Speaking of movies, is there gonna be more Cinema for Cynics coming? Yeah, Paul's always talking about it. I don't know. You know, it's like with most things with Paul, you know, one of you guys, you know, maybe you guys just need to like kidnap Paul and like force him. You know, like lock him in a cave like they did to Tony Stark in the first Iron Man. And tell him, you're not leaving this cave until you record us a movie review. Yeah, motherfucker. Why did you guys stop Cinema for Cynics and Pitch Wars? Well, we didn't stop Cinema for Cynics. It's just been a while since anything's been uploaded. As for Pitch Wars, we did stop doing that, but only because we got tired of putting our all into it, you know, and really struggling to come up with like the best pitches possible, and then it not really getting the sort of views that we wanted to see it have. You know, especially compared to other stuff on the channel that was way more low effort. We were like, well, this sucks, you know, because we work really hard on these Pitch Wars, and then, you know, something we'd fucking just turn on a camera and be like, oh man, that sucked. Fucking don't see that. And that would get way more views. It's like, man, fuck this. Why are we going through all this trouble? Not only that, we're giving away all of our good ideas to fucking Hollywood for free. So fuck that shit. But yeah, I did like doing that show. Deep Fat Fried Harder, the movie. Yeah, you could always do that. Man, I just don't. Oh man, the energy's wrong. You guys feel that? You guys feel how the energy is wrong, or is that just me? Maybe I need to listen to some fucking intense music. But I can't because it's probably all copyrighted. Copywritten? Whatever. Boo, boo, boo. Come on. Maybe I'll read some of my fucking reviews. Maybe I'll find my voice by doing that. So this is Sleepaway Camp from 1983. I don't know if any of you guys actually seen this movie. So this film is a cult classic, and I can't really figure out why. It's not the worst slasher film ever made, but it's certainly not on a Friday the 13th level. The acting ranges from barely passable to pretty awful, even by 80s slasher movie standards. The kills are, for the most part, pretty tame. Very little is shown. The movie is somewhat notorious for its last-minute twist, and while it's a pointless twist, it does definitely stick with you. Some people find something of value in this film, but to me, it's a fairly standard slasher movie that I doubt I will ever watch again. Has anyone ever seen Sleepaway Camp? You know, watch it tonight? Kubrick in reverse idea? Oh, okay. Neat. Sleepaway Camp is awful. Like, I don't understand. Okay, so spoilers. I'm going to do a spoiler for Sleepaway Camp, so I don't know if you give a shit about having a mediocre movie from 1983 spoiled for you. That's your warning. But anyway, it turns out the demure, shy girl, it was actually the killer and was actually a boy the entire time. You know? So the final scene is, you know, a dude wearing an unconvincing mask of her face, standing around naked with his fucking dick hanging out, covered partially by shadow, I guess. And it's like, she's a boy! And that's the end. And it's like, well, is that supposed to explain why she killed all the people? Like, she was, you know, because, oh shit, you know, because boys, they're murdery as fuck, you know? And if you make them live as a girl, then the only way they get their boyish aggression out is, you know, through murder. So, I don't know, man. It seems kind of weird. Like, why is that? How's that where it makes sense as a fucking motive? Here's one you might not have seen, because this one does not enjoy the cult classic status that the Sleepaway Camp does. This is something that I never even heard of until I watched it on the 21st, or what it was probably it's probably early in the morning on the 22nd actually. So I'll read you the review and then I'll talk about it a little more. The premise of this movie alone is enough to turn many people away. A demon is raping women to death in a small town. You can't trust this damn movie. The characters constantly refer to their town, Galen, which, by the way, everyone knows. There was this town is called Galen, of course, so it really stuck with me, the name of the town, because, you know, I know a guy named Galen, and you guys have probably all seen him. There was a bumper sticker on there that said Galen, 150 years of boredom on someone's fucking car, and I was just like, oh man, I should freeze frame it right here and take a picture and send it to Galen. But then I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Anyway, the characters constantly refer to their town Galen as though it were a small town where everyone knows each other. Yet every outward indication you see with your eyes would lead you to believe Galen is actually a small city, or at the very least, quite a large town. Yeah, like there's a scene where they're driving around in their car, and the script is obviously written for a movie that's meant to be set in a very small town. Like the way they talk about the town, you'd think it's like a one-horse town, but there's like scenes where they're driving around it, and they're just driving past all these like 5 or 6 story office buildings and shit. Like it clearly is like a large town or a small city. There's a scene set in what is supposed to be a movie theater, but as far as I can tell, it looked like a rock concert laser show, complete with an audience of 80s rockers and a couple writhing around on stage cutting each other's hair or something. What? What am I describing? What did I see? What the movie shows you and what it tells you don't often match up. I was literally sitting there in complete confounded puzzlement as that scene displayed itself to me. Because all the characters are talking about this place as if it's a movie theater. But it doesn't look like the people are looking at a screen. It looks like they're looking at a stage. And on the stage, there's like a rock band playing some kind of terrible music. And there's all these 80s rockers that have just filled the theater. And there's a laser show, and there's this couple writhing around on stage making out. And then all of a sudden, the chick takes out a pair of scissors and cuts some of the dude's hair off. And I'm just like, what? Huh? What is this? What's going on here? And here's the thing. it's supposed to be happening like in the middle of the day. Like they go outside afterwards and it's like it's totally bright out. It's not. So this is a small town, right? Where there's weird psychedelic laser rock and roll hair cutting goth shows going on in the middle of the day to a packed house of 80s rocker teenagers. I'm just like, what? What? There's a great tracking shot under a wheelchair that reveals a murder scene under a doorway. And you could tell real care went in executing that scene. Unfortunately, the editing of the film is poor. Shots are often jumbled up. It's not always clear when we've changed scenes. It's not always clear how a character moved from point A to point B. It's not always clear just what you're looking at. If you're looking for a movie with an intense premise handled in a very indelicate and over-the-top cheeseball way, then there are worse uses of your time than watching this early 80s schlock. Yeah, I'll show the trailer for it. The trailer actually did convince me to watch this film. So I'll go ahead and show you the fucking trailer, if I can find it. And I should be able to. So this is the fucking movie here. They claim it was made in 81. As far as I know, it was made in 82, but whatever. It doesn't really fucking matter that much, does it? So yeah, let me just plop that up on the screen for a second, and I'll get that ready. And here we go. I'm going to go ahead and play this for you.
Galen Village. Tranquil. Quiet. A nice place to live. But something has gone wrong.
Look at the bruises on the kid's neck. One hell of a large hand. His spine was crushed like a piece of balsa wood.
When the sun goes down, something stalks the streets of Galen Village.
Joe wants to call the Attorney General. Have him send in some help. What do you think I should do?
Take whatever help you can get.
30 years ago in Galen, these same types of murders occurred.
I think my past has something to do with these murders.
No, Jim, listen.
Something silent. Something lethal. Something or someone is killing the people of Galen.
I think I'm going crazy.
Every time he has this dream, somebody dies.
You're talking about actual materialization.
What kind of a quack are you? The boy's in the clear. He's not in the clear. Every time this kid has a dream, somebody in this town dies.
It is real. It is alive. It is among us. The incubus.
Okay, so, that movie, TJ only liked this because it fulfilled his dark fantasies. No, it wasn't nearly explicit enough for that to be the case. But I heard the book is crazy. I heard the book is absolutely batshit crazy. And if this is the watered down version, I'd say that's pretty neat. No, but all of the killings, at least of the women, all of the women who are killed in this movie are killed because they're literally raped to death by a giant demon dick. Yeah, I mean it's not explicitly shown. There's not like a scene of the demon whipping out his cock or anything. But it's implied that not only is he raping these women, but he's raping them with such force and with such an appendage that it is utterly destroying their insides. And so you see their bodies just covered in blood, and the blood is emanating from their genital region. That got 3.5 stars though. Well, it's a pretty cool movie, honestly. I mean, there's lots of fucking there's lots of cool kills, and it keeps the stuff going. Like, if you're a fan of, like, sort of exploitation, grindhouse, drive-in, whatever the fuck you want to call it kind of movies, then, a lot of the times a movie will throw a few crazy things at you, but then mostly fill its runtime with a lot of really boring dialogue scenes between people who can't act. This movie doesn't really do too much of that. It pretty much keeps the crazy shit coming. So there's always some new crazy shit going on in the movie. And yeah, I mean, 3.5 stars. That's not based, like, let me make it clear. When I rate it 3.5 stars, I'm not basing that on, like, oh, this is a amazing technical achievement in filmmaking or something. Like, that's not for, like, any sort of objective merit. That's just about personal enjoyment. All of my ratings deal with my personal enjoyment of a movie, not its merits taken for themselves from a, like, film auteur perspective or some crap. Is the main character's name Sonny? No, the main character's name is Sam. And he's played by pretty much the only good actor in the movie, John Cassavetes or something like that. I've heard his name around before, and he's been in some actual mainstream movies as well. But he was actually good. Everyone else, not really terrible for a B movie like this, but not anything you're gonna write home about. Like, oh, I saw this amazing diamond in the rough of a fucking actor or something. But yeah, I mean, that's how it goes. Swamp Ape. I would say I give Swamp Ape 4 stars. Because I actually really enjoy Swamp Ape. I mean, that's just... And plus, it doesn't overstay its welcome. Like, a lot of these movies that are like this, they feel the need to try to make themselves an hour and a half so they can be like, we're a real movie. Swamp Ape didn't even bother to try. Swamp Ape's just like, we know this is bullshit. We gave you an hour. What do you want, Yeah, he was in Rosemary's Baby. John Wick 3. I'll show you my review before we move on to something else of John Wick. It's somewhere in here. I'm trying to review every movie I've ever seen. That's my fucking goal in life. So I know I got John Wick. Here's my John Wick review, which I think will answer your question. The reason I like this movie is because he goes on a rampage to avenge his dog. The rampage itself is fine. It's got a lot of gunplay on about the same level as Clive Owen's much less popular film Shoot 'Em Up from 2007. Why did Clive Owen's character, whatever his name was, shoot a bunch of people? Who remembers? Not me. Why did John Wick, name of otherwise forgettable character cleverly worked in the title, smart, shoot a bunch of people? They killed his dog! I haven't seen the John Wick sequels, and I never will. You only get me with the he's avenging his dog plot once. So there you go. I'm never seeing John Wick 2. I'm never seeing John Wick 3. I'm never seeing John Wick 4 or 5 or 6 or however long they're able to milk it. I watched the first one. It was all right. I'm done. That's where I'm at. I'm not hungry for more. Yeah, I guess if they ever do a porn parody like John Thick, we could maybe talk. We'll see. I love Shoot 'Em Up. The carrot kills were dope. Shoot 'Em Up is an underrated movie. I think it's about as good as John Wick in terms of the gunplay, but I think it's actually a little better in terms of being like an offbeat, strange movie, which is probably why it was a fucking flop. And, I still wouldn't see a sequel to even that one, but I'd probably give that one 3.5 stars as opposed to the 3 stars I gave John Wick. I've never seen them, but that sounds not interesting. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's all right, whatever. It's like it's like a little stupid action movie. That's all it is. That's all it needs to be. It's fine. Anyway, let's move on to something else. Oh, this is fun. This is This is another list. 100 ways to make the world better for non-binary people. Okay? Okay. Respecting people's pronouns and 99 other easy things. It's not really an easy thing when there's a list of 100 things I'm supposed to do for literally every fucking group out there. And I've never seen one motherfucker like 100 ways to make life easier for men or 100 ways to make, the world better for neckbeards or some shit. It's always fucking women or black people, or in this case, non-binary people. All right, well, let's get right to it because it's not going to get any fucking shorter, will it? I'm going to go ahead and switch to this view. It should still be visible, I would hope. Yeah, let's do it. There is no one non-binary experience. Celebrate and accept nuance. Embrace the contradictory and confusing. Be comfortable with not knowing everything. You're asking the wrong person to be comfortable with not knowing everything, first of all. But I mean, like, yeah, okay, there's not one but what does that mean? There's not one non-binary experience? Like what? Is there any two human beings on the face of the fucking earth with the same goddamn experience? Feel the exact same way? You know, like, we only have, you know, like, I don't care. Two people can go through the exact same shit together and have totally different experiences of it. So it's like, just no duh. No fucking shit. Except that a non-binary person's identity is about them, not you. Feel uncomfortable? No, I just feel like no shit. Yeah, someone else's identity is about them and not me. No fucking duh. Like, what? Like, why am I being told this? Like, why are all of these lists such patronizing drivel? Like, who's going around and meets, like, you know, hey, my name is fucking, what's a non-binary name? Craigita? I don't know. I'm Craigita, and I am non-binary. And someone's like, oh, they're being non-binary to impress me. Like, does that happen? Is that a thing? I know I just said it, but don't say it again, because that's not two things then. Let me say it again. There is no singular non-binary experience. Yeah, okay. You can't, this is like you're at 3, and you're already padding the fucking list? I mean, come on. Like, Jesus. That means this 4 is just a continuation of 3. So this is another example of it not actually even being 100 things. It's artificially inflated to 100 because that's, for some reason, the magic goddamn number. Why is it the magic number? I don't fucking know. Oh man, he's going to debunk all 100. This could be the whole show. Just getting started. Just getting warmed up. Unlike these fuckers. That means if one non-binary person says something, like using multiple pronouns for them is okay, that doesn't mean it's okay for everyone. Yeah, thanks. So yeah, everyone just gets to have their own pronouns. Everyone, like, why don't we just switch to individual pronouns? No more of these collective pronouns like he or she or z or any of that shit. Everyone's got their own specific, personalized fucking pronouns. And you got to remember everyone's, and if you don't, it's a hate crime. Welcome to the new world. On a related note, don't make assumptions. Not just about non-binary folks, but about everything related to gender. How about you just don't make assumptions at all, ever? I mean, obviously, human beings are going to make assumptions. But how about why don't we just recognize that all of our assumptions are prone to being fallacious? Not just the ones pertaining to your little specific niche of concern. Except that you can never know someone's gender just by looking at them. Yes, take it in. Until we can read minds, we can just never know. All right, I'm going to tell you what. If I'm driving around in my town and I look out my window and I see a dude, if I see a person who appears male and he's got a Trump bumper sticker on his fucking car and he's wearing like some camo pants and a wife beater and a fucking dumb hat, and he's fucking chewing tobacco, and he spits a big old fucking pfft. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that guy identifies as male. And you know what? 100 times out of 100, I'm gonna be fucking right. Because you can sometimes just know someone's gender by looking at them, okay? So when you don't know anyone's pronouns, default to they, them. Even the people whose gender you think seems obvious. No, I'm not going to do that. You don't get to tell me what to do. You know what? If I see someone and I assume that is a woman or whatever, and I say her or she, they can feel free to jump in and be like, actually, I identify as, my pronouns are Zymergy and Nyarlathotep. It's like, can you use that in a sentence? Fuck. Recognize how often you may attribute a binary gender to everyday things. Holding doors open. What? Do I attribute a gender to my door? Paying for the check, housework, buying flowers. Okay, so I see what they're saying. So yeah, I hold a door open for anybody, because I'm polite like that. I'm not polite overall, but I am polite like that. Paying for the check, you don't have to worry about my stingy ass paying for any checks, unless you're Chelsea sitting over there. She can expect it, but no one else can. Housework, that's her job. We argue about it, but, it's a woman's work. I don't know what to say. It's just how it is. Buying flowers, she can feel free to buy me flowers anytime she wants. Take those stereotypes and throw them into a deep, deep abyss. All right, cool. Yeah, some of them I'll throw away. I still want women to do the housework, and I'm okay if women want to pay for the check, though, and I'm okay if they want to buy me flowers. So I'm kind of there with you, but not all the way. Completely erase the phrase all men and all women from your vocabulary. Sure, no problem. Deleted. In fact, burn any remaining copies are Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Seek them out if you must. Wow, who even remembers that fucking book other than you? I haven't heard anyone talk about Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus since 1993. And you're gonna bring that up? Like that's still some fucking hot topic in society or some shit? Nice Lovecraft reference, damn straight, bitch. I knows me to Lovecraft. Except that girl is not gender neutral. Yes, even among queer folks. Even if you know non-binary people who are okay with being called girl, that doesn't mean we all are. Well, you know what is gender neutral? Faggot. And hey, don't call me out for no hate speech bullshit now. I'm bisexual. I like dicks too. So, you ain't got me on nothing. It's like a black dude saying the N-word. It's still okay for me. It's our word. Dude is not gender neutral either. It totally is. It totally is. I call Chelsea. You can testify to this. I call you dude all the time, right? Say, right, dude? Right, dude?
Yeah, dude.
It's all good?
It's all good.
You good with that? Would you say dude is gender neutral?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you get called dude by other people?
Yeah.
Yeah? So it's fine.
And
Dude
I
is
do
good.
it too.
And she also calls people dude. We're taught that sir and ma'am are polite, especially to strangers and in customer service. But actually, I don't care. They misgender people. Big fucking deal. So what are you supposed to call them? What's the let's see. These words misgender people. You could stop using them and still stay polite. How? What's your alternative? Like if you say,
Not say a name.
like what? But like if you're in a situation where you're gonna say sir, like thank you sir, thank you ma'am. Like, what do you say? And could you just, I guess you could just say thank you.
Yeah. That's what they're
Right. But I feel like, you've missed an opportunity here. You could come up with some gender neutral honorifics for these people. It could be like Zer and Zam or something. Thank you, Zer. No? You don't like it? Stop saying the opposite gender/sex. There aren't only two genders or sexes. Wait, what? Okay, I understand the logic behind there are more than two genders. I understand it. Because you're saying gender is a construct of the mind and all that shit, so you can have as many as you want. And I can't look into your brain and know your experience, so you could say, I'm this other gender, and I guess that maybe you could convince me to go along with it. But there are only two sexes. That's just biology. If you're you have to explain to me how there's more than two sexes. Medically, that wouldn't even be advisable. Are we going to get to the point where a physician is not allowed to talk about the differences in male and female biology because it offends your sensibilities? Come on. Also, stop saying the two genders, either gender, etc. I hope you're recognizing a pattern here. Yeah, the pattern I'm recognizing is that you're an asshole. And that you're trying to control me. You know, not in any substantive way, and it's not like you actually have a chance of succeeding at controlling me, but still, it is kind of annoying. Not only are there not just two genders, there aren't just three genders. There are literally infinite genders. Infinite genders. No, there's not infinite genders. There's not. There's only like 7 billion people, right? Or 8? I don't know. What's the population? How ridiculously have we overpopulated the planet at this point? I can't even keep track anymore. But there could only be, even if everyone had their own gender, there could only be as many genders as there are people on the fucking planet. And by the way, if there's infinite genders, then the concept of gender is totally fucking meaningless. It's just utterly meaningless at that point. As well as people without gender. Oh, man. Okay. All right. The limit does not exist. Citation needed. Don't ask individuals to be the spokesperson for all non-binary people. I'm not asking anyone to be a spokesperson for shit. I wish more people would just shut the fuck up, honestly. Non-binary people can identify as non-binary men or non-binary women. Okay. If you're confused, that's okay. Remember, it's not about you. It's about respecting individuals' identities. Yay. It doesn't. It's not even okay. Yeah. Okay. Fine. I accept it's not about me. It's not about me. But at that point, isn't it about just the simple rules of logic? Because the binary that they are supposedly non is the binary between men and women. Right? That's the binary that they are not, that they're rejecting. So you can't be a non-binary man or a non-binary woman. It's like being a Jewish Nazi. I mean, I guess you technically could be that, but it doesn't make sense. You know, and I'm fine. That's not my ego rejecting that. That's just the simple rules of fucking logic. Those two things are fucking contradictory. If you're confused, that's okay. Okay, well, good, because I am. So don't freak out when non-binary people don't use they pronouns. Non-binary people can use any pronoun they want. Some use he or she or z. Some binary people don't use any pronouns and only want to be called by their name. Don't use any pronouns. Okay. Maybe that's the solution to all this fucking bullshit. Just no more pronouns, everybody. The human race has proven itself to be too irresponsible to handle the pronoun. So we're going back to all amateur nouns from now on. Research the history of non-binary identities across cultures. Okay, here's the rich history. All the way back in the year 2009, someone said, I reject genders and I am non-binary. And ever since then, we have all been annoyed. Research complete. I don't know. Maybe there is a rich history. I'm being glib. So just, don't take me too serious now. Good stuff. Particularly the history of colonialism. It only took you 21 to get to colonialism, huh? By Western imperialists. Is Western imperialist, is that a proper noun? I don't think it is. Unless it's a band. Like, we are the Western imperialists. No. Maria Lagoons? I don't know. The coloniality of gender is a great place to start. Yeah, I'll be reading that real soon. Expand your understanding of non-binary identity beyond the English language. Many other languages don't have a singular they. Listen to non-binary folk who speak languages other than English. They're experts on their own experiences. Okay, I'm not going to listen to people who speak anything other than English because I only speak English. Unless you're going to go through the trouble of subtitling them, then I guess maybe I can give them a shake. Immediately stop reading and watch this video of an Argentine girl explaining why les is an important gender-neutral pronoun in Spanish. Watch your heart grow 3 sizes. What's this use of the word girl here? That's not gender-neutral. What the fuck is going on here? The fuck is happening? Understand, I'm not going to watch it, by the way. Understand that non-binary is both an umbrella term as well as a word one can identify as. One person may identify as just non-binary. Other people may say they're non-binary gender fluid. Yeah, oh, shit. Hey, Chelsea, can you remind me? We need to check the gender fluid in our car, by the way. I think it might be getting low. Reflect back the language that people use about themselves. Yeah. What does that mean? Reflect back the language that people use. Oh, okay. So like what, lead by, they're going to lead me by example. Whatever they say, I say. Okay, fine, fair enough. Learn that I said Sith. That'd be way cooler. Learn that cis and trans are Latin prefixes and not new words from Tumblr. Oh, wait, you just learned this by reading this just now. You're welcome. Thank you. Also, it's okay if you learned about what non-binary is from Tumblr. It's valid to learn new things from the internet. It's lots of people's first access. Oh, my God, please stop. Oh, my God. What does that even mean? How is this helping anybody? This is about how to make the world a better place for non-binary people. What does this have to do with that? What is saying that Tumblr is a valid source of fucking knowledge help them? Never mind. I just answered my own question saying that out loud. Don't make a big hubbub if a non-binary person dresses in stereotypically traditionally binary way. Dresses and bow ties don't have genders. It's going to be okay. You're always telling me what's going to be okay, aren't you? It's all going to be okay, you piece of shit. Recognize that gender expression is not the same as gender identity, though they can be closely intertwined. Also, cisgender people can express themselves in ways that are non-conforming to binary. I'm starting to go cross-eyed. Oh my God, please save me from this bullshit. Oh my God, this is just pain. You see the chat saying it too. Life is pain, I want die. Yeah, dude, what the fuck? This might be the worst one yet. Because I last time I read one of these, I don't remember the suicidal feelings creeping up until I was like halfway through. This time I'm only like a little bit over a quarter of the way through, and I'm already just like, please end this. Just end my pain, for fuck's sake. Ooh. Ew. God. Damn, man. I can't take this shit. Oh, let's see. So, where was I? Which one? Yeah, who cares? We're just gonna skip to 31. Oh wait, no, I haven't. Man, I shouldn't have digressed. Also, recognize that non-binary people can be any sexuality, including straight, aromantic, asexual, queer, lesbian, bisexual, gay, and so on. You can't really be bisexual if you're non-binary, because bisexuality kind of reinforces the dichotomy of two genders, or at least two sexes, that you don't believe exists. So, I don't know. Seems like bisexual. It seems like there's a bit of bi exclusion going on. Here's I guess I skipped 29, which says recognize that in addition to not knowing someone's gender by looking at them, you cannot know a person's sexual orientation or lack of just because of their gender or how they look. Okay, fine, fair enough. Don't default to honorifics like Mrs., Ms., and Mr. Some non-binary honorifics include Mix and M. I also enjoy Your Highness personally. Ugh. I'm sure you do. Yeah, I mean, it seems that's appropriate. That's fucking appropriate. I will call you Your Highness, but I'm going to say it sarcastically, because what you've created here is just a list of insipid decrees that you just expect people to obey for no other reason other than you just think they should. So, I guess that works. Your Highness. Stop using your non-binary friend. I don't have one, so I don't have to worry about that. This one goes for trans and non-binary people too. Don't use the term two-spirit if you're not an indigenous person. Even if it is an option on OkCupid, just stop. Just fuck you. Fuck you, 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 fuck you. Okay? Because here's the thing. By saying I know you're trying to be so fucking progressive, like, oh, you can't be two-spirit because that's a thing for the indigenous persons of America. But actually, you're insulting their religious beliefs by saying that, because they believe that certain people are born with two spirits. They don't believe that only Indian people or indigenous people or Native Americans or whatever the fuck you want to call them, they don't believe that only they are born with two spirits occasionally. They think that's across the human fucking experience. So by saying that only they can use the terminology, that means that only the phenomena only exists within their racial group, which means that you're basically saying that it's just a cultural thing and it's not there. It doesn't actually reflect reality. So you're insulting their religious beliefs. So fuck you. And I'm okay insulting their religious beliefs because I don't believe in anyone's religion. But I know you think you're. So see, I fucked you on a crossroad of fucking tolerance, bitch. What now? Add your pronouns to your email signature to normalize disclosing pronouns. Fuck you, I'm not doing it. Add your pronouns to your social media. No. You don't get to tell me. They offer you very limited space as to what you could put there, and I have important things to say. I don't have time to let people know my stupid fucking pronouns. Everyone already knows. They just look at me, and they know. They just look at me and they fucking know. That's a he, that's a him. And if they're wrong about that, if I ever come to a point in my life where I'm like, I'm not a fucking he. I'm a fucking zippity bop. I'll fucking let them know. My pronouns are zippity bop and flippity flop. And if you don't use it, I will beat you down. In fact, just go ahead and do those things right now since I know you're online. Fuck you. I ain't doing it. 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 Correct people when they misgender your non-binary friends. I don't have no fucking goddamn non-binary friends. I barely have any binary friends. Correct yourself when you misgender someone. Correct myself? How am I supposed to know if I misgendered someone unless they tell me? Because they emphasize yourself. I'm gonna correct myself in the wrong situation. I'm gonna find next time I see like a fucking woman who looks a little manly, I'm going to be like, here you go, ma'am. I mean, sir. Just to fuck up her day. That's what I'm going to do. And I'll be like, oh, well, which one are you? I can't really tell. Let your non-binary friends know you support them. I don't have no fucking goddamn non-binary friends. Quit with all this shit. Like, why are you assuming my fucking friend pool? I got like 3 friends. None of them are non-binary. Leave me alone. Quit pouring salt in that wound. Share your resources with other cis folks. Become a teacher. I don't think you want me to become a teacher. Start a conversation. I don't think you want me to do that either. Use your privilege to take that burden off non-binary folks. All right. As soon as I find some non-binary folks, as soon as I find even one person in Louisiana who identifies as non-binary, I'll go be their cis savior. Practice removing assumed gender descriptors from storytelling, particularly about strangers. Instead of that man in the red, use that tall person in the red. Man, just fucking kill me now, all right? I don't want to live in this world. I'm not down with this. Can I just... No wonder I'm attracted to these movies that were made in the 70s and shit. Because I can't get with this. I don't want it to be the tall person in red. I want it to be the man in red. The man in red... Can't you just see how that's way better of a description of a fucking character than the tall person in the red? Gross. Gross, gross, gross. I don't like it. Give your pet gender-neutral pronouns like they. Chelsea just gasped. Ugh. End the gender reveal party tradition. Well, I'm never going to fucking breed, so I don't have to worry about that. And when your friend is going to have a baby, don't ask the gender. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. It says here, like, why? That would actually be my question. If someone's like, we're having a baby, I'd be like, why? Gross. Don't. Disgusting. Relearn pink and blue as colors that do not have genders. And when you buy stuff for your friends' babies, buy them in colors other than blue and pink. Well, wait, are we trying to reform the colors or are we trying to just eliminate them from existence? I'm confused. Raise and interact with children with non-binary gendered language from the start. I ain't fucking raising or interacting with those stupid-ass goddamn kids. Seek out extracurriculars for your kids. Don't have to worry about that. Even for adults no longer in school. When your office puts on team-building activities, don't create boys versus girls teams. Okay. Another one doesn't apply to me, never will. If you're assigning singing parts, think of low voices, high voices versus... Why would I ever be assigning fucking singing parts? How many people in their day-to-day lives face the dilemma of fucking choosing out singing parts? Like, is that a common experience? Chelsea, have you ever in your life fucking chosen singing roles? I haven't. I can't think of anyone who has. Maybe Paul. Paul worked in theater a little bit. Maybe Paul has. I don't know. Bosses, teachers, and anyone off a roster always include chosen pronouns. I'm only halfway through this. Oh. God fucking damn it, dude. Oh, this is fucking horrible. Why did I do this? Oh, my God. Fuck. Am I insane here? Is this just like fucking mind torture? Put some all gender terms in your back pocket. I don't know, whatever. Specifically, stop using the phrase ladies and gentlemen. I offer you distinguished guests, esteemed guests, which are both gender inclusive and much fancier. All right, fine. I'll do it. I do like distinguished guests, I guess. Instead of boys and girls, use children, kids. All right. Yes, master. Learn the delightful phrase guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Guys and gals and non-binary pals? Ew! I don't want to say that. Fuck you for even making me aware of that. Ew. Fuck. Yeah. In religious spaces, such as in church, replace brothers and sisters with siblings. For example, siblings in Christ. Christ himself didn't say that. And by the way, if you're a Christian, what are the chances you're going for any of this non-binary shit? Very little. Use non-gendered terms for professions such as firefighter instead of fireman or firewoman. The answer to your question about postman, use mail carrier. All right. Push for degendered dress code, even if gendered dress codes don't bother you personally. All right. Ask your school and or company to get trained on transgender and non-binary cultural competency. I don't even know what that means, so I guess I need training. Use NB as a shortening of non-binary instead of NB. NB is already used by the black community to mean non-black, such as NBPOC. Respect that this usage came first. Wow. Let me just... Okay, so we're just going to respect which came first, right? So let me just see all of the different things that fucking NB stands for. New Brunswick, Nota Bean, abbreviation of LATA, Nota Bean, which means note well. So I think I think the Latin usage probably has precedence. Latin was probably first before black people started saying non-black. So if only, like nothing's ever allowed to share a fucking abbreviation or acronym, then non-black is just as out as non-binary. And also, fuck you. Internalize that a doctor says you are... internalize that a doctor says you are... What? Whether female, male, female, or intersex is... I don't... Get away from me. Also, acknowledge that the work of intersex folks when it comes to third gender advocacy, such as Interact. No, I don't want to. Understand that some non-binary folks have gender-affirming surgery. They're still non-binary. How can you affirm a non-binary gender? That doesn't make sense. Oh, but it's not about me. Understand that some non-binary folks take hormones. They're also still non-binary. Okay, fine. Yeah, you can call yourself a fucking racehorse if you want. I don't give a fuck. Understand that non-binary folk who never fucking have surgery or hormones and blah, 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 they're still non-binary. Okay, everyone who says they're non-binary is non-binary. Everyone who says they are is. Even right-wingers who say sarcastically, yeah, I'm non-binary. Even their non-binariness should be respected. That's how far I go with this shit. Thank you very much. Reject the idea that there is a non-binary look. While the media feeds us images, the media doesn't fucking even address this. I've never been, tuned in, it's turned on to CNN, and it's like, here's a non-binary person. Here's what they stereotypically look like. Never even seen that. Fuck off. Non-binary folks' appearance, gender expression may depend on the access they have to the clothes, cosmetics, accessories, hormones, and medical procedures they want. Recognize that. Can you okay, I'll recognize that. In return, can you recognize for me that you're fucking annoying? That you're just really fucking annoying. And I just... it's painful for me. You know what? No one should be able to create a list of more than 10 of these. Ultimately, no one should even be creating this list, but if you are going to create one, you get 10. You get 10 little fucking things of, this is how you should treat me, motherfucker. Beyond 10, fuck you. Fuck you. If you want to add a new one, you got to take a previous one out, or you got to combine them, or figure out some new wording or something clever. But no one should be subjected to 100 things that you must do to be in my fucking good graces. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh, y'all. Nuh-uh, y'all. Nah, dog, nah. Where the fuck... What happened to the fucking... Where'd the chat window go? Dude, where the chat... What the fuck? Stay here. Jesus. Sounds like you have to be rich to be non-binary. Maybe. But even poor people who are non-binary are still non-binary. That's important to recognize. Know that non-binary folks may present in a different... Didn't we do this? Didn't we do this one 3 times already? I get it. Anybody who says they're fucking non-binary is non-binary. If you just had one thing on this list that says anyone who identifies as non-binary is non-binary, and you just you could get rid of 90 of these right off the bat just with that fucking... Okay. Try to put yourself in the shoes of a non-binary person who can only choose between a multi-stall men's or women's restroom. Just take a moment. Okay, I'm going to take a moment. Okay, so I'm a non-binary person. Well, I guess I'm just going to go in whatever restroom I fucking want, right? What do you want? What is the solution to this dilemma? We just get rid of gender bathrooms? I'm okay with that, I guess. Or, should we have a non-binary bathroom? You said there's infinite genders, so maybe there should be infinite bathrooms. Every room on Earth should just be a bathroom devoted to a new gender, You gotta I'm searching. What are you doing? I'm on a quest to find a bathroom for my gender. I know it's out there somewhere. If you see someone whose gender expression confuses you in a bathroom, don't stare. Just mind your own business. It is a bathroom after all. Yeah, you don't have to tell me not to stare at people in the bathroom. All right? I'm pretty good at not doing that. Besides, even if you see a bizarre person in day-to-day life, I mean, maybe some people do stare, but for the most part, people kind of look away and then talk to their friends like, dude, I just want you to know, there is a fucking person over there that looks really fucking weird, okay? Yeah, just look at him. Just look at him. There's like a 300-pound black woman with pink hair and a nub where her hand should be over there in the next stall. Just look, but look real subtle like. Don't let her know. Oh my God. Please, just... Okay. I can do this. 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 We're almost home. Home stretch. Home stretch. We're not almost there. It's still so long to go, man. Oh my God. What have I done? Oh. Don't stare at people in the bathroom. Okay, that's where we were. Call out when single stall bathrooms have a binary gendered label on them. The single stall bathroom in your home is all gender. All bathrooms should be. Okay. Fine. Don't be afraid to ask honest questions, such as someone's pronouns. It may feel awkward, but it's more awkward and painful to misgender someone. Yeah, okay, so do this fun experiment next time. Go up to a giant, muscle-bound fucking black dude. And if you think it's racist to make him black, whatever. He can be any race you want. Just go up to a giant, muscle-bound dude covered in fucking tattoos. And be like, pardon me, I was just wondering, what gender are you? Enjoy your trip to the fucking hospital. Haven't asked someone for their pronoun before? That's okay. Don't get worked up about it. Just say, oh, by the way, what pronouns do you use? Dude, if I asked that to 99% of the people I know, they would look at me like I was fucking insane. They would look at me like I'd lost my fucking mind. But also, become best friends with Google. Say it with me. Google is my friend. Ew, no. Don't. Google is no one's friend. Take the initiative to look up the questions you have rather than asking for the emotional education and labor of non-binary person. Okay. Don't expect praise for being an ally. Respect for others is a minimum prerequisite for being human. No, being human is a prerequisite for being human. It doesn't matter. Like, if you're born a human being, you're human. You don't get to fucking decide who's human and who's not. That's like something Nazis did. The Jew is a subhuman. You know, you don't get to say anyone who doesn't respect my identity is subhuman. Bullshit. Everyone's human. Every person who is a Homo sapiens, you know, who belongs to that species, that motherfucker or that bitch or that whatever is a fucking human. I don't care what their conduct is like. I don't care if they're a fucking serial rapist and murderer. They're still a human. And this pseudo-speciation bullshit has got to go. Fuck you. Learn how to make mistakes. Everyone knows how to make a fucking mistake. It's actually people who need to learn from their mistakes. That's the difficult thing. It's not learn how to make a mistake. It's learning how to fucking learn from a mistake. For example, you miss something. Yeah, okay, that's great. Learn how to apologize gracefully. Okay, I'm sorry, you're a stupid fuck and I hate you. Is that proper? Let me know. Give me notes. I need some stage direction. Stop any invasive questions about people's bodies you may have. What's under their clothes is absolutely not your business. Just the same as for cis. Yeah, like for everybody. No, I'm not fucking going up to random people on the street being like, pardon me, sir, you look like a man with a big dick. Am I correct in that assumption, sir? I guess I shouldn't be calling him sir, because that's offensive. That's the part that's offensive. I guess they're both offensive. Be conscious of the words you use, even as compliments. Some non-binary people are okay with being called beautiful or handsome, while others are not. I'm just going to avoid the whole complimenting thing. I'm never going to compliment anyone in my entire life ever again, because it might be offensive to them, so, you know. Accept that non-binary people We're at the last fifth. We're at the last fifth of this list. Except that non-binary people... I'm sorry. I just died a little. Except that non-binary people are not a fad or a new trend. Also, except that the increase of mainstream coverage of non-binary identity may have been a stepping stone for folks to understand their own identities. They're not copying anyone. Okay, that's great. Wonderful. You guys are... Man, you know what? Can we just have a round of applause? Round of applause for all the non-binary people out there who are so brave and so courageous. And I love them so much. Oh, they're great. They're just wonderful. Yay, non-binary people. Oh, my God, they're so special. They're so much better than the rest of us because they're non-binary. Wow, everybody. Yay. Yay, non-binary people. Woo! Is that what you want? Are you happy yet? Celebrate non-binary parents. How about you just have one rule called celebrate non-binary people? You know? Yay. Celebrate non-binary. Also celebrate uncles and aunts and nieces and nibblings. What's a nibbling? Nibblings, a word for non-binary children of your sibling, aka an alternative for niece or nephew. Fuck you! And uncles? Uncles and nibblings? Go away. Just go away into a fucking dark hole and die. Be specific and inclusive when you discuss bodies. For example, stop associating pregnancy solely with women. All kinds of people can get pregnant. Can I? Can I get pregnant? Can I be like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jr.? Because I want to get pregnant so I can get an abortion, because that'd be fucking awesome. I want to know what it's like to get an abortion. The same goes for periods, of course. Rock on, yeah. Periods are so cool. Everyone should have a period. Advocate for third gender markers where you live. States in the U.S. like California, Oregon, and Washington already have them for birth certificates. Cool, rock on, yay, awesome. And if you're in a management position, make sure the paperwork at your company has them. Okay. Read writing, not just books, but articles, blog posts, and interviews by non-binary authors. Why? Like, why do I have to do that? Like, even if I wanted to be a great ally and do all this supportive shit for you for no reason, why would I do that? Like, I'm going to fucking go out of my way to read. Like, I want to know what non-binary authors think. Like, are they better thinkers? Are they better writers? Like, what the fuck? Like, what do they got? What do they got that any other writer doesn't have? Listen to music by non-binary individuals, not just on streaming service, but any platform as well. Like who? Such as what? I'll listen to whatever music sounds good to me. Like, can't I just listen to music that I think sounds good and just, like, I don't give a fuck who's making it? You know, like, if I'm listening to a song, boom, 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 and I'm like, man, this is pretty cool. And someone's like, yeah, the fucking artist who made it is non-binary. I'd be like, oh, neat. Boom, 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 But, you know, I mean, if it sucks, it sucks. Like, I don't give a fuck what your identity is. Either the music's good or it's not. Follow NB folks on social media. Like me, it will broaden your worldview to have many different NB voices in your time. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I've had about as much as you as I could fucking stand about 30 of these ago. Support NB folks through sites like Cash App, PayPal. What? What? Redistribute that cis wealth? You want money just because you're non-binary? What a fucking scam. You know what? I'm non-binary too. Send me some fucking money. Eh? Yeah. I got a fucking PayPal link down there. I got a fucking Patreon. If you don't fucking join it, you're a fucking bigot, eh? Because I'm fucking non-binary. And you know what the great thing is? You can't question my non-binariness, because if you question it, you're also a bigot. And my pronouns are fucking zippity-doo-dah and day. How you like that shit, motherfucker? Yeah, give me some money. I gave myself a stupid label, and now I want your money. Oh, you cocksucker. You fucking cocksucking motherfuckers. Was this just a long-ass follow me on social media and donate to me ad? Yep. It sure was. Published by Vice, by the way. Vice is publishing this. This isn't even just like some loser's blog somewhere. This is like, there's money behind this horse shit. Refuse to be part of an all-cis anything, panel, showcase, listicle, etc. What? So, I mean, like, so if okay, so let me get this straight. Like, let's say I'm on a panel, and they're, like, panels aren't huge things. Like, a lot of times a panel is, like, 4 or 5 people, you know? Maybe even less. Maybe even, like, 3 people. That's still a panel. So I should refuse to be on, like, if someone's like, TJ, we want you to come do this panel. Now, first of all, I would reject it anyway, because being on a panel sounds like a fucking nightmare. But let's say I did want to be on the panel. I'd have to be like, okay, so who else is on the panel? Oh, it's going to be, George R.R. Martin and Quentin Tarantino and you on the panel. It's like, wow. George R.R. Martin and Quentin Tarantino, but, I mean, that sounds great, but neither of them is non-binary, so I'm afraid I must decline. Like, what? I mean, how many non-binary people are there? There's like 70, you motherfuckers, right? I've never met one. I've never, in my life, met a single non-binary person face-to-face. I've met a few trans people, you know? I mean, they've come to meetups, and they write me, and whatever the fuck else. That's fine. I met trans people. I've met gay people. I've met lesbians. I've met a lot of different little, like, sexual orientations and gender identities. I've never met one person who's like, yo, I'm non-binary. And if I did, by the way, I'd be totally respectful. I'd be like, oh, okay. Well, you're going to have to let me know how that works and how we're going to proceed and, what you want to be called and all that stuff. But that's between me and that one person, that hypothetical person that I've yet to even meet in my life. Okay? That's between me and them. It has nothing to do with you and your stupid fucking list. When you include non-binary folks in your events, don't add on folks as an addendum or footnote. While some non-binary folks may be okay attending women's and femmes events, not all. I don't give a fuck what you want. Just fuck you. We're almost at the end. The end is in sight. Stand up for non-binary folks when the trolls are trolling, which is basically always. All right. Don't erase non-binary folks for statistics. Challenge the blog. Non-binary people can feel a certain kind of imposter syndrome by living in a society that continuously reinforces the idea there are only 2 genders. Call out people who insist there are only 2 genders. That can help. Okay, I call them out. Call them out. Hey, people who think there's only 2 genders, boo! Boo! People who think there's only 2 genders, boo! You suck! Boo! Boo! I say. Challenge when gender drop down say men, women, and transgender. Good intent may be there, but yikes, is that wrong? Remember that transgender and cisgender are adjectives, not nouns or genders themselves. That doesn't even have anything to do with non-binary people. Does it? I don't even think it does. You know about spectrums, but think of gender as a galaxy. Not 2D or 3D, but multidimensional. Okay, one left. Wait, no, there's 2 left. Oh, fuck. This is a long one, too. Audre Lorde once said, there is no such thing as a single-issue struggle because we do not live single-issue lives. Non-binary people are black, brown, indigenous, people of color, sex workers, undocumented, immigrants, disabled, poor, incarcerated, elderly, and a number of other marginalized identities. Understand that non-binary people come from all backgrounds and life experiences, that non-binary people are real and valid. Once again, just another fucking rephrasing of the goddamn first one on this fucking list, which is just, there's no one non-binary experience, which once again, no shit Sherlock. And finally, number 100, accept that there will always be more to learn. Be game to continue learning. Jesus. Fuck me. Holy shit, was that long and frustrating. My God. Like, I don't feel good after that. Do you? What do you think, chat? Tell me how you're feeling, because Jesus, I feel not great. Here you go. Oh, man. I'm just taking a little break in my brain here. I identify with both genders quite often. I'm not even opposed to cross-dressing, but I understand the fact that I'm biologically male. No, you're not. You're every gender. You're multi-gender. You're 3,000 genders. You know what? I'm going to go ahead. I'm gonna make a fucking final determination on this gender shit. All right? So a lot of the people, the conservatives especially, bent people say there's only 2 genders. Okay? And this person here says there's infinite genders. So I am going to fucking tell you once and for all how many goddamn genders there are. There are 78 genders. No more, no less. There are 78 genders and 78 genders only. And plus, you can also be non-gender. So that's 79 technically, but that's not a gender. So that's why I didn't include it. So yeah, there's 78 genders. That's it. And anyone who says there's any more, fucking idiot. Anyone who says there's any less, fucking idiot. You remember, go forth, take that into the world. Let everyone know. When people say there's only 2 genders, say nope, 78. Someone's like, there's infinite genders, there's infinite possibilities. Nope, 78. That's how many genders there are. That's how many genders there were. That's how many genders there will always be. Click here to read 1,000 more easy ways to make life better for non-binary people. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. 51. Oh, remember this? I already did that one. At least that was only 51. That's why it was easier, because there's only 51. Yeah. Man. So non-binary people are even fucking worse than fat people when it comes to fucking, please treat me special. Please treat me special. What happens? What's after the fat people, though? Is there another one? Like 792 ways to be better to... What's this? 100 easy ways... Oh, yeah, there's another one. 100 easy ways to make the world better for trans people. Let's see how deep this fucking rabbit hole goes. What's next? What's after that? What other groups do I need to make things better for? Chinese people? What is this? Native people. 100 ways to support, not appropriate from these people. I'll be doing these lists till the end of times. Wait, what is this one? 100 ways white people can make life less frustrating for people of color. I think I already did that one at one point. 97 ways to just be a better person. Just flat out. Vice.com has got you covered. This is just 97 easy ways to be a better person, just in general, according to Vice. Ugh. Don't worry, we're not doing another one today. I ain't going to put you through it. I ain't going to put myself through it. Next up, we got some fucking Rick Wiles coming at you, but first we're going to take a break because, Jesus Christ, I need one. I'll be back in 5 to 10 with some Rick Wiles talking about abortion. Give all your money to non-binary people, baby, yeah. Show yourself to the people, dude. I know. It's okay. You're stable. You interested in the camera? Cats are always interested in everything other than the one thing you want to pay attention to. Whee! There you go. Is that what you want to be? Right there? There's nowhere to go. I know. He doesn't really like heights too much. So he's not sure where to go. He's kind of trying to plot a course to the ground, but you can't make that jump, you know. You know that, right? What? Ah. Aw. What are you doing? Ah! He's biting my fucking ear. All right, I'm going to get you. I'm going to put you back, okay? I just wanted you to say hi to the people. So, be right back. Just wanted you to say hi to the kitten. And I said, hey, yeah. We don't have a name for it yet. Alvarez, yeah. I don't know. Couldn't quite make Alvarez stick. Yeah, it's not Squeaks. We can't put them together yet, though, because, that one's too young to get its shots. So, yeah, I don't think we've ever named a pet quickly. It usually takes about 2 weeks. So, in 2 weeks, ask me. Name it Macaroni? No, we're not naming it Macaroni. That'll never happen. Anyway, enough cute kitten chatter. Let's fucking see what Rick Wiles has to say.
Please show me in the Constitution. Where is the clause?
So I'm going to start that over.
Please show me in the Constitution. Where is the clause in the Constitution that says a woman has the right to murder an innocent baby? A bunch of reprobates on the Supreme Court declared that a constitutional right to murder babies exists in our Constitution.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the 14th Amendment. You can argue with the interpretation if you want, but basically the 14th Amendment guarantees a right to privacy and sort of a right to autonomy. Says that the state cannot deprive a person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protections of the law. It actually has 4 different sections. I'm not sure exactly which section the privacy clause is. Maybe I can look it up on like the Roe v. Wade page. So let's see here. Here's the Roe v. Wade Wikipedia page. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see, what part of the Constitution do they... Because, I mean, like, obviously, they're making a constitutional decision. It's the job of the Supreme Court, by and large, to interpret the Constitution of the country. So here's the right to privacy thing. The right to privacy... whether it be founded in the 14th Amendment's concept of personal liberty and restrictions upon state actions as we feel it is, or in the 9th Amendment's reservation of rights to the people, is broad enough to encompass a woman's decision whether or not to terminate her pregnancy. That's Roe speaking there. Let's see here. Or wait, no, that's who's that? Says Roe, so I guess so. After dealing with justiciability, the court then proceeded to the main issue of the case, starting with a lengthy historical survey of the status of abortion under the Anglo-American common law and the Roman law. It also reviewed the developments of medical procedures and technology to perform abortions, which only become reliable and reliably safe in the early 20th century. With its historical survey as background, the court centered its opinion around the notion of a constitutional right to privacy that was intimated in earlier cases involving family relationships and reproductive autonomy. After reviewing these cases, the court proceeded with virtually no further explanation of the privacy value to rule that regardless of exactly which of its provisions were involved, the U.S. Constitution's guarantee of liberty covered a right to privacy that generally protected a pregnant woman's decision whether or not to abort a pregnancy. So that's the interpretation. And you can disagree with the Supreme Court's interpretation of the law there, but the Supreme Court exists as a body to interpret the Constitution. And so that's now part of constitutional law. And that's why when someone says abortion is constitutional, or that, states like Alabama are depriving women of their constitutional rights, it's because the Constitution has been interpreted by the Supreme Court of the United States of America in 1973 to guarantee women the right to abortion. Now, it doesn't guarantee it as an absolute right. It does come with provisions. It says that that's actually how we got these 3 trimesters of pregnancy. And the court ruled that during the first trimester, governments could not prohibit abortion at all. During the second trimester, governments could require reasonable health regulations. And during the third trimester, abortions could be prohibited entirely, so long as the laws contained exceptions for cases when abortion was necessary to save the life of the mother. So under the Roe versus Wade ruling, the Alabama law, which bans abortion outright, is completely unconstitutional unless the Supreme Court, decides to hear a case, possibly to hear a challenge against the Alabama law, and then they decide, oh, no, actually, our previous ruling on Roe v. Wade was wrong, and this new ruling of, ACLU versus Alabama or whatever, it wouldn't be the ACLU itself, it'd be some complainant, but you know what I mean? It would replace the legal precedent of Roe v. Wade, and then, it would be left up to the states from there, I'd imagine, depending on the nature of the ruling. But that's where it is in the Constitution. There's no specific provision that says you have the right to get an abortion, just like there's no specific provision that says you have the right to drink alcohol. In fact, there was one that specifically said you couldn't for a while, or that you have the right to smoke a cigarette, or that you have the right to, wear glasses, or to, do interpretive dance, or whatever the fuck you want to do with your life. Those things are kind of, it's like, okay, is this part of liberty or is this not? Do we have this right or do we not? And it's not specifically laid out every little thing that you can do. It's just like, does it fall under this or does it not? That's the question.
There is no such right.
Not a single place.
There is no such federal.
Not a single place. Not a single place now. Let me tell you what, there's not a single place does it specifically say in the Constitution you got the right to murder a baby. Nowhere does it say that, not one place.
Law. The Congress has never passed an abortion law. It's never happened.
Right.
Judges on the Supreme Court who defied the living God decided that they would legalize the slaughter.
Well, God being all-powerful, you think if he really had a problem with it, could just, his voice could boom from the heavens like, no abortion shall remain illegal. Or he could just simultaneously strike all abortion doctors across America with lightning or a plague or something. God being the all-powerful being he supposedly is, could definitely intervene in the situation if he really took issue. But by the way, so you began this by asking, where in the Constitution does it say that a mother can murder her unborn child? Well, where in the Bible does it say that she can't? That'd be my follow-up question to you, right? Because if you're going to say the Constitution doesn't say that, well, yeah, you're right, it doesn't specifically say that. There's a lot of things it doesn't specifically say that we still think are implied by it. But it doesn't specifically say that. Well, where does the Bible specifically prohibit it? Guess what? Nowhere. Nowhere. In fact, there's a few parts of the Bible that actually support abortion. It might take me a second here to find it out. That's why sometimes the people who watch the clipped up version of this get a better deal, because I cut out and you're like, oh, I'm going to do some research on the fly. They don't have to sit through that. But let's see. Abortion in the Bible. Let's take a look at that real quick. What does the Bible say about abortion? Let's see if I can find what I'm looking for. So here's some 10 biblical bullshits. This is from the Freedom from Religion Foundation. So Exodus 21:22 through 25 says, a pregnant woman who is injured and aborts the fetus warrants financial compensation only to her husband, suggesting that the fetus is property, not a person. Numbers 5:11 through 31, the gruesome priestly purity test to which a wife accused of adultery must submit will cause her to abort the fetus if she is guilty, indicating that the fetus does not possess a right to life. So basically, the Bible says if your wife commits adultery against you and gets pregnant committing adultery against you, one of the things that happens to her is that she is forced to abort that baby. So the Bible clearly is like, fuck that baby. It doesn't care about the baby. It doesn't view the baby as an autonomous individual. It views it as, oh, this is an affliction that has been visited upon, this otherwise good Christian family. God enumerated his punishments for disobedience, including cursed shall be the fruit of your womb, and you will eat the fruit of your womb, directly contradicting sanctity of life claims, and that's from Deuteronomy 28:18 through 53. But I think, honestly, the Numbers verses alone prove that the Bible does not think of a fetus the same way that it thinks of a full-fledged human being. Not that the Bible really even treats the sanctity of adult human life as being worth anything. God strikes people down all the time for sometimes the most minor things. I mean, God sent a bear to maul a bunch of children to death for making fun of a bald guy. So the Bible doesn't really care too deeply about human life in general. So that alone should tell you something. But it doesn't seem like it recognizes a fetus as a human being. So I would ask you, sir, Mr. Rick Wiles, what exactly is your basis for opposing abortion on a biblical level? What makes you think that God has a problem with abortion? I mean, maybe he does. If God has a problem with abortion, it would probably be less to do with the sanctity of the life of the fetus and more to do with not wanting to give a woman autonomy over her own body, because it basically says, like, it'd be like a biblical version of abortion would probably be like, a woman can get an abortion, but only if the man wants it, only if the man says so, because he's the king. He's the king of the castle. He's the, top cock in the fucking roost, or whatever expression you want to use. The bitter water. She must drink the bitter water, which basically is a compound that will make you shit out the fetus as a bunch of bloody, horrible chunks. Shit it right out your vagina. So, yeah, the Bible doesn't really give a fuck about a fetus, Rick. So I would say that people who are pro-choice and leaning on the Constitution have more of a leg to stand on than your ass leaning on the Bible. Not that you care, because, whatever. Since when has Christianity, especially in America, had anything to do with the Bible? You're a bunch of cutthroat capitalists who worship a hippie pacifist that hated money.
Babies in this country. Those judges, some of them, I guess all of them by now, are dead. And their carcasses will burn in hell forever. I personally believe that abortionists and those who fight for abortion, I believe that after you die and after the judgment of Almighty God on Judgment Day, I believe that abortionists and the supporters of abortion, I believe that their punishment in the lake of fire will be to be aborted continuously by demons.
Doesn't the Bible make it pretty clear that only God is allowed to make those kind of judgments? Doesn't it say, "Judge not, lest ye be judged"? Doesn't it talk about how only God can judge a person's soul, and only God, by that logic, could determine what their punishment is? I don't think that. It seems like Rick Wiles doesn't really worship God. It seems like he really is more concerned with being God. I think he wants to just skip the line and be like, here's what I'd do to him. Well, just say that. Why don't you just say, I, Rick Wiles, when I'm God, am going to send all these abortionists to burn forever and to get aborted over and over again for all of time. They will be aborted over and 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 over. because that's what they deserve. Because, look, I mean, like, here's the thing. Any child or any fetus or whatever you want to call it that gets aborted only has to go through the process of being aborted one time, you know? Like, whatever the procedure is. You know, whether it's, it's probably different depending on the stage of pregnancy. But, whatever the procedure is, I saw one the other day. I don't even know if it's a real procedure or if it's just pro-life propaganda or whatever. But basically it was like they just reach in with some forceps and they rip off all the limbs of the baby and then they smash its fucking head. Seems like they should just smash its head first, really. But even if you find that gruesome and horrible, that only happens once, So why should someone have to do that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, Why is that a fitting punishment? Because they don't, I mean, even if you want to say, like, for every child that was aborted, they must be punished. Well, then they should just be aborted in hell as many times as their decision led to abortions. Every abortion that their decision led to, they should have to experience firsthand, Like, oh, okay, well, you support abortion? Well, now you will be aborted because of the, 70 million abortions that you caused. You will be aborted 70 million times. But why infinite, Seems unfair. Seems like a little bit too far.
Continuous, perpetual, eternal abortion. Think about that, Doc.
No, I'm just sitting here.
Think about a demon with scalpels, scissors, cutting your spinal cord.
Again. And
Think about a demon with scissors and scalpels cutting your spine over and over and over and over again, over and over. Okay, yeah, why don't you think about it and fucking jerk off, huh? Oh, yeah. Oh, and then the demon takes fucking, what's one of the judges? It takes Judge fucking Warren E. Burger, and it fucking rips him apart like the piece of fucking subhuman shit he was. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, Harry Blackmun, the fucking author of the majority opinion in Roe v. Wade. Oh, he's getting double aborted. He gets aborted 5,000 times a second for every second from here until the end of time. By a demon. Oh, yeah, big, muscular, greasy demon with forceps and pliers and a fucking bandsaw and all kinds of shit, If those judges are getting aborted over and over again, who's the womb they're getting aborted from? Every woman who ever got an abortion and goes to hell, her womb has to eternally house the Supreme Court justices who participated in the Roe v. Wade decision and get an abortion every second of every day for all time, Jesus.
Again and again.
Crushing your skull.
Crushing your skull, ripping your heart out, using a vacuum cleaner to suck your organs out. And then it all goes back together and they do it again.
Maybe the demon even whispers, you're not really a person. You're not really.
This is fan fiction. What if the demon whispers? Like, and then the demon's like, it whispers in the area, you're not even a person, mate. You're not even a fucking person, huh? You're just a fucking piece of shit. And that's why we're going to abort you over and over again. What about the demons? Like, isn't that boring after a while for the demon, just like has to sit there? It's like a torture for the demon even. It's like, all right, I'm going to abort you again. Now you're back together. I'm going to abort you again. Now you're back together. Abort you again. Now you're back together. Jesus fucking Christ.
Really a person.
You're not a person. That's right. You have no rights. And this goes on for billions of years, hundreds of billions of years, billions of years, and it never stops. It never stops. You will be aborted continuously forever.
Yeah, man. Abort me forever. Continuous abortion. Aborted and then aborted again. Every time you think you done, another abortion comes. Man, fuck Rick Wiles, dog. I mean, like, could it be more clear that what he's describing is just his masturbatory fucking fantasy? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, abort him again. Yeah, forever and ever abortions. Yes. Yes, yes. Oh, I love it. It's quite delicious. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, it's so pretty. All right, let's go ahead and move on. This will probably be a quick one. Chris Rock to reboot the Saw franchise for Lionsgate. Yep. Yes, you read that headline correctly. Legendary comedian and actor Chris Rock, known for being truly hilarious on stage and in front of a camera, is teaming up with Lionsgate and Twisted Pictures to reboot the Saw horror franchise. Seriously, this isn't a joke in any way, and we didn't just choose to move April Fool's Day a month ahead. A month. This is happening. The announcement came through on Thursday morning saying that Rock wrote a story for a new Saw that will be adapted by Pete Goldfinger and Josh Stolberg. Rock is set to executive produce the movie. It'll hit theaters on October 23rd, 2020. Yeah, I guess I really don't have much to say about this. This is definitely not getting clipped up into its own little thing to release on my channel or anything, but wow. I mean, I just think it's funny that this is happening. I don't know. Just kind of like a what? A little bit of a head scratcher moment there. This is, I don't know what we'll make of this, but we'll see how this goes. This is some weed propaganda from the 1960s. I'm going to start that over. This is some weed propaganda from the 1960s. And I pulled it because I heard a particularly fun phrase in there, and we'll take a listen.
This is the real action. The pot party. The trippers, the grasshoppers,
the pot
hip ones,
party,
all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite. Outside the boundaries of their phony world of kicks is the ever-present possibility of discovery. This must be avoided at all costs, for discovery brings with it the penalties of society: shame, arrest, prison. So destroy the evidence, leave not a trace, burn it in paper trash. That way they can deny possessing the illegal marijuana. They can say the flaming can is part of a game. They can lie, they can swear. This time the gang's lucky. It's not the law, or discovery, or problems.
So wait, the dude was literally gonna light a trash can on fire in the middle of his living room so that when the police burst through the door demanding to, see like the marijuana, they just be like, no, we just burn trash in the middle of our house, It's like a game, It's like fun, we do that. Who the fuck, who doesn't do that, We just love garbage fire. It's fucking awesome.
It's just their supplier, Pete, with his #1 chick, and a new guy looking for kicks. Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville.
I love that, man. That's the whole reason I pulled this. Let's hear it again. Let's hear that shit again.
Get it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville.
Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville, man. I love you too, Chelsea. I see her in the comments there. She's going to bed. Fucking shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. That's not anti-weed propaganda. That's pro-weed propaganda right there. I'm sure something horrible is going to happen to them. Like, one of them is going to fucking take a puff and turn into a demon and rip his own fucking head off or something. But for now, it's a pro-weed. Whoa, man. That's LSD music right there. That's not pot music. That's fucking LSD music. That's like, whoa, I see colors, man. You normally see colors. Maybe you smell the colors. I smell colors, and I see sounds. Whoa, whoa, man. What the fuck is happening? Whoa. Oh, man, what the fuck is she? What you fucking bro, man? What the fucking magical world. That's LSD music. That ain't no marijuana music. Marijuana music is like, I don't know, it's more chill than that.
To John, his first pot party looks exciting. Everyone seems to be having fun. Best of all, there are no parents.
That guy is really high. That guy is actually high. They gave this dude real weed for authenticity's sake before they fucking shot this ad, dude.
No other adults. No one to interfere with the fun.
That dude's a serial killer for sure. I would not be smoking with that guy.
The feeling of importance, of belonging, of putting one over is taking hold. Pete intends to tighten that hold, to squeeze it, to hook it, to lock it in.
Is he talking? Okay. That sounds very sexual while he's staring at her boobs. To squeeze it, to hook it, to touch it. To play with its nipples.
Now's the time to introduce the joints. But Pete has learned the rules well. A pusher can never be caught with the stuff on him. Instead, he must leave it, stash it, get it from a flunky. This is the test, the time to separate the man from the boy. John's willpower, individuality, character are slipping down the drain.
Yeah, wow. The stakes are high. His willpower, his individuality. What is it? What is it? Wait, so if he smokes weed, his individuality is gone? Why? Okay, I'll go because he gave in to peer pressure. Because that's the reason anyone would smoke. They only smoke to seem cool to all the other people who smoke. You know? No one gives a shit about that. People are just like, hey, what does this do? Oh, it's going to make you feel really good, and you're going to fucking, like, laugh at shit that normally wouldn't be that funny. And you're going to have all these crazy whimsical thoughts, and you're going to be super chill, and like a lot of your like pain and shit, maybe that'll fucking like be subsided and shit. So you're going to feel really good. It's going to be fucking great. You know? Oh, well, I don't want that. You know? Some people, they smoke it, they don't get that effect. They get a different effect. You know, maybe they just get paranoid, or maybe they just fucking, it doesn't do that for them, or they just feel weird, or whatever the fuck. And you know, for those people, fuck, fine, find something else. Find a different drug, or don't do drugs, or whatever you fucking want to do. It's your choice. That's what individuality is. It's the freedom to make whatever fucking choice you want to make, and not listening to some fucking propaganda video probably paid for by the fucking government.
In their place come the old behavior habits and excuses. Everybody else is doing it. If he can handle bennies and beer, he should be able to handle a few harmless puffs, just to see what it's like.
Yeah.
The
Sounds
natural
reasonable.
defenses are crumbling.
Take a hit.
The barriers of caution are beaten down. Drag it, man.
Were the barriers of caution down the moment he entered this place with the intention of smoking weed with these people? Like, what barriers? I mean, like, you're already in the fucking weed smoking den, so might as well take a fucking hit.
Man, try anything once. Fly.
Do it.
You can't get a habit from weed. Quit whenever you like. Don't be chicken.
Yeah. Do it. Do it. See, I want to peer pressure this guy. Come on, just take the hit. The joint's gonna go out while you're fucking waiting with this indecision bullshit. Are you gonna double hit it? He's already got one, doesn't he?
Come on, man.
Yeah. Hit the fucking J, bitch.
Get with it.
Yeah, get with it, brah.
Under the proddings of...
Fucking shake off this square bullshit and go to fucking Kicky Town or whatever the fuck it was. Come on.
The gang, the effects of the atmosphere and beer, the desire to belong, he chooses to go along.
Yeah. I wonder what sort of life-ruining consequences this is going to have.
John surrenders his dignity and lays his future on the chopping block.
Dignity, done. Your dignity's over now, bitch. You took that hit of weed, you're over as a person. You're canceled.
Not whether it's good or bad or right or wrong. But if he stopped to think, he would see the stupidity of
Wow, that fucking high came on quick.
it all. Now he
took like one hit, he's like...
too involved to think. He's having kicks.
Kicks.
He's away
Kid
and
tested,
flying.
mother approved.
Up,
Kicks.
up, out of this world.
Does he die? Is he gonna die? What's gonna happen to him? There's very little time left for something to happen. Okay.
But everything that goes up must come down. When John came down, he landed with a thud. Due to the effects of the alcohol and the late hours at the party, the following day he was too tired, too sick to study. Now, facing another school day, he finds the same problems, the same responsibilities.
Wow. That really wasn't so bad. You just fucking didn't do as well on the test. That's the fucking big consequence for this dignity ender. I thought they were going to go way more extreme with it. The best ones of these, like, you know, like, man, they really fucking downgraded. Because, I mean, you watch, like, Reefer Madness from the fucking, like, 30s. And, you know, people are jumping out of windows with this shit. This one's like, you know, and he didn't have time to study. And didn't do so great on his fucking history exam. Like, okay, I guess that's more a realistic approach, but, you know, that's not that dire, you know? Like, should have been like he was so tired that he didn't look where he was going and he stepped out in front of a truck. Boom! And now he's fucking marinara sauce, you know? That's more of a fucking ending. But whatever, what do I know? What the fuck do I know, Brian Fisher says putting a homosexual in the White House must be unthinkable. Okay.
A homosexual in the White House must be unthinkable.
Okay. I mean, the house is already white, which is the same color as jizz, I will point out. You know, I'm pedestrian enough to do that.
That's the title of my piece. It's got to be unthinkable for us even to consider putting a homosexual in the White House as our next president.
Okay.
And what I say here is, look, if you love America, if you're an American and you love America, you cannot afford to put an unapologetic and unrepentant homosexual in the White House.
What about a repentant and apologetic homosexual? Like, that's what you know, because you said we cannot afford to put an unapologetic, unrepentant homosexual in the White House, but what if he's super repentant and apologetic about his homosexuality? What if every time he sucks a dick, he looks America in the eyes like, I'm sorry, guys. I can't help it. I really don't want to be doing this, but... You know? Like, what if it was like that? Would that be okay? Could we at least consider him for the presidency at that point? Or is it still, like, verboten? That's what I want to know. Like, you know, because, I mean, you know, you add modifiers, you know, you bring up questions. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think the first thing to do is ask somebody if they think the president should be a role model. Most people will say, yeah.
How long has it been since we had a president that was a role model? Okay, let's just go back here. So right now, I'm going to put up a fucking thing of presidents maybe. Let's see. Presidents. There we go. So here are our presidents. First of all presidents are role models by virtue of being president, right? Like, if you've reached the highest position of power in all the land, so you're automatically a fucking role model to some extent. But let's just go through here. So Donald J. Trump, orange retard, insults everyone, respects no one, total dipshit. Okay. Barack Obama, liar, scumbag, did NSA spying on all the country and lied about it. And when he was discovered, he put the people who told us in jail. George W. Bush, war criminal, lied to get us into war. William Jefferson Clinton, handsy sex maniac, likes to, he's either, depending on what narrative, I mean, at the very least, he's a womanizer. At the very worst, he is a rapist. George H.W. Bush, just kind of a simpering little wimp, but did take us into our first misadventure into Iraq. Although at least he knew when to pull out. Although he didn't always know when to pull out, because if he did, then George Jr. wouldn't have been born. Ronald Reagan, Alzheimer's addled fucking dementia patient in the White House. Barely knew what was going on half the time. People would throw leaves into the pool so that he could think he was cleaning them up. For like the third time that day. Jimmy Carter, wimp. Gerald Ford, moron. Richard Nixon, corrupt. Lyndon B. Johnson. A lot of people think he shot Kennedy. Kennedy, womanizer, cheated on his wife. Dwight D. Eisenhower, I don't really know. That's when I stopped knowing what the scandals about these guys were. But still, like, it's been a long goddamn time. It's maybe been an eternity, because, like, every president of the United States has been a human being, and every human being is fucked up and wrong in some way. So, you know, no president is a perfect role model. I don't think that, you know, sticking your dick in another dude's ass or getting a dude's dick stuck in your ass should be disqualifying from being the president or being a role model. So, whatever.
Now, our friends on the left, progressive friends, are just consumed with outrage that we have an adulterer now sitting in the White House. But what we should point out is, look, if they are outraged that we have an adulterer in the White House, they have made our argument for us. Because by their own admission, they are agreeing that a would-be president and what he does in his private life does matter and is a valid concern for voters.
Well, most people on the left still view adultery as negative, but they don't necessarily view homosexuality as negative. So it's not really the same thing. And in fact, the Bible has way more to say against adultery than it does against homosexuality. So,
you know, we're in an odd place right now in our culture in which the very same people who are blasting the president for sordid sexual conduct 12 years ago are lionizing and swooning over somebody who is engaging in sordid sexual conduct repeatedly and proudly today.
I mean, they talk about Pete Buttigieg here. Once again, I'm not even a fan of this guy, but, you know, the dude is gay and he's gay married, right? So he has a monogamous relationship. He's not committing adultery as far as we know. Maybe he is. Maybe he's got an open relationship. We don't fucking know what kind of relationship he's got going on. But fact of the matter is, you know, if you're on the left, you're not looking at him being gay as though that's any sort of like, oh, that's weird, or that's a perversion, or that's something that's wrong. That's just another way to be. So no one on the left really gives a shit about gay sex anymore. No one cares. No one's grossed out by it, or if they are, it's just on a personal level. They don't think that should be applied to society at large. Whereas adultery, the left and right still pretty much agree that they don't like adultery. No one likes someone who goes around cheating on their significant other, you know? And we've had a lot of fucking adulterous presidents. I mean, Donald Trump committed adultery for sure. Bill Clinton for sure. I don't know about these other guys, but Kennedy for sure. And probably a lot of these other guys did as well. They just didn't get caught. So, but, you know, whatever. You got adulterers, you got homosexuals. Adultery pretty much universally looked at as being bad. Homosexuality, there's a disagreement on whether or not that's bad. People on the right wing might say that it is, or they might say it's not. People on the left tend to say that there's nothing wrong with it. But maybe there's some dissenting voices on the left. I don't know. I haven't seen that. But, yeah, so I don't know. This analogy, to me, it's not really working out.
Now, adultery is sexually deviant, make no mistake about it, because it deviates from God's design for human sexuality. But homosexuality, I would submit, is even more deviant than adultery because...
Well, God really doesn't seem to mention it quite as much in the Bible. There's only one explicit condemnation of homosexuality in the entire Bible. Now, there's a few others that maybe it's condemning homosexuality, maybe it's not. It's kind of open to interpretation. There's only one that explicitly is like no gay sex, and that's in Leviticus, the same book that says not to wear polyester blends, not to grow, two different crops in the same furrow. You know, there's all kinds of crazy, stupid rules in Leviticus that not a single Christian on the face of this earth obeys. And there's also one against homosexuality in there. The rest of the Bible, there's a few things that, say like, oh, a man shouldn't be girly or something like that. And you could interpret that as homosexuality. It doesn't, who knows? But nothing explicitly saying gay people are bad, gay sex is bad, a man having sex with another man is bad. There's only one thing in the entire Bible that explicitly states that, And it's in the book full of dumb rules that all Christians ignore. So it doesn't really matter.
Homosexuality puts
whereas, by the way, adultery condemned all over the Bible, tons of times.
human body parts to uses that were never intended by nature or by nature's God. We also ought to point out that homosexual sex is far riskier to human health than heterosexual sex. Again, according to the CDC, which is...
Well, you know what's way more dangerous than either of those is like smoking cigarettes or eating at McDonald's or, lots of things. I mean, there's lots of things that Americans do all the time that are pretty dangerous and pretty risky, and yet we still maintain that we have the freedom to do those things. You're in much greater danger of dying from eating, unhealthy your entire life or smoking cigarettes every day than you are from engaging in gay sex, especially if, you're taking precautions like, wearing condoms and, making sure that, if you take on a new partner, you're both tested and stuff. Now, obviously, not everyone lives by those kind of fucking rules. Some people like to play fast and loose with that kind of shit, and they just think it's more fun, more exciting to, just jump into bed with a stranger. You roll those dice, you take that risk, that's on you. But I don't really think Pete Buttigieg, he doesn't really seem like that kind of guy to me. I don't think that Pete Buttigieg, and I could be wrong, I don't think that he's like, going off to the fucking gay club and, finding two dudes to rail him from both sides, while he sits there and fantasizes about, sitting in the Oval Office, with some hot male intern sucking his dick under the fucking desk in there. What would that be? What's the male version of Monica? Be like, there is really no male version of Monica, is there? Be like Manica Lewinsky or something. That's terrible.
Not a part of the vast right-wing conspiracy. 65% of all of the males who have ever contracted HIV/AIDS in the history of the epidemic got it through having sex with other males.
Right.
Another 25% got it through injection drug abuse. So homosexuality is a greater and more manifest threat to human health even than injection drug abuse.
Well, it's a greater risk of getting AIDS, but I mean, way more people are dying of opioid overdoses than are dying of AIDS at this point. So, not really, no. You can't look at if you're looking at like what's a bigger risk to contract HIV/AIDS, gay sex or sharing needles. Obviously, if the statistics you just furnish are true, then gay sex is. But does that mean that gay sex is overall more dangerous than, intravenous drug use? No, because you're not factoring in the huge plethora of fucking overdose deaths that we're experiencing in this country.
Drug abuse, and everybody admits that's a huge health problem.
Right.
So if somebody's pushing back on this, ask them if you think it would
pushing back on this. Interesting choice of words.
Be okay to celebrate a candidate who was repeatedly, unapologetically, and proudly injecting himself with heroin, cocaine, or meth.
I'd be okay with it. I don't care. I think that'd be an interesting presidency for sure. I'm okay with president track marks. Quentin Tarantino rejects hypothesis on Margot Robbie's limited role.
Quentin, you have put Margot Robbie, a very talented actress, actor. In your film, she was in with Leonardo in Wolf of Wall Street, I, Tonya. This is a person with a great deal of acting talent, and yet you haven't really given her many lines in the movie. And I wondered, I guess that was a deliberate choice on your part, and I just wanted to know why that was, that we don't hear her actually speaking very much. And Margot, I wanted you to also comment about being in the film in this part.
Well, I just reject your hypotheses.
Like I said earlier, I always look to the character and what the character is supposed to serve the story. I think the moments that I got on screen gave an opportunity to honor Sharon and the lightness. I don't think it was intended to delve deeper than, like Brad also mentioned, I think the tragedy ultimately was the loss of innocence, and to really show those wonderful sides of her, I think could be adequately done without speaking. I did feel like I got a lot of time to explore the character, even without dialogue specifically, which is an interesting thing because I often do look to the interaction with other characters to inform me on the character. Rarely do I get an opportunity to spend so much time on my own as a character, going through a day-to-day existence. That was actually an interesting thing for me to do as an actor. I actually really appreciated the exercise and felt that I could deliver what I wanted to on screen.
Quentin.
So, this is a woman, a reporter, in search of a headline. And, you know, just by asking the question, she created the headline. Because whatever answer he came up with was not going to be satisfactory. He chose to give her a very minimal answer, just say, I reject the hypothesis, or he said hypotheses. It didn't seem like there was actually multiple, whatever. He's a wordsmith. I'm not. He can fucking say what he wants. But I mean, I think it's really weird to ask this question of Quentin Tarantino, who, you know, he's done so many movies centered around, you know, really strong female characters who have a lot of personality. In Pulp Fiction, Uma Thurman's character in Pulp Fiction, obviously, super interesting, well-developed character that had a lot of dialogue and a lot of character development. Jackie Brown, centered around a female character. Kill Bill, Volume 1 and 2. Not only was The Bride a great female character, but O-Ren Ishii was a great female character. The chick played by Daryl Hannah, is that her name? She was great. I forget her name at the moment, but you know, I mean, he's written so many really good female parts in his movies that it's kind of weird to ask him this question. You know, like this seems like a question to put forth to like some kind of Michael Bay-esque director who writes women as basically, you know, just lingerie models. You know, they're just there to bend over things sexily. Then again, the men in those movies are just meant to stand around looking buff. So, you know, you really can't say that any of his characters are too well fleshed out. But I mean, like to say like Quentin Tarantino, like went out of his way to not write dialogue for her, like what answer is this reporter expecting from him? Like he's just gonna be like, well, I feel like, you know, bitches just a better seen and not heard. Know what I'm saying? Maybe you could take a lesson and shut your fucking mouth, bitch. You know? Like, what? I mean, like, it just seems really strange. And it seems like just a really desperate attempt to generate a headline. And apparently that's exactly what this did, because I saw so many stories about this. I saw it trending on Twitter. All because, you know, and like there was no good answer to the question. There's just no way, there's nothing he could possibly say that's going to satisfy the group of people who are going to get upset about this. You know, and there was nothing, I mean, by the way, just because they don't like him, because he was connected with Weinstein, and because he said a few things in the past they didn't like, and they don't like the sensibility of his movies, so they have to try to constantly take these unfair little pot shots and try to make it seem like he's some kind of monster or some kind of sexist or he doesn't respect women or whatever the fuck. You know, and it's just bullshit. It's unfair, and you know, basically fuck them, yeah. I thought this girl would be trans or something. Is this really just about her being a woman? Yeah. I mean, she's a woman. This is Margot Robbie. It's Wonder Woman. You know? Wait, no, not Wonder Woman. She wasn't Wonder Woman. That was who was Wonder Woman? Whatever. She's Margot Robbie. She's been in a bunch of movies. Wasn't she? She was Harley Quinn, right? Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, she was Harley Quinn in this terrible Suicide Squad movie. You know, she's been in a bunch of stuff. And basically, the woman in the audience apparently felt like she didn't have enough dialogue in the movie. And so, therefore, what? Therefore, the movie is sexist. The movie, you know, doesn't respect women. Therefore, Tarantino doesn't respect women. Therefore, hashtag cancel Tarantino. Who fucking knows what she's trying to do? Yeah, it was Gal Gadot that played Wonder Woman. Thank you. This one here, I wasn't sure if I was going to do this. This came out on April 25th, so about a month ago. And I saw this video. This is called Bernie Asked If Boston Bomber Should Vote in Clever Smear Question. This is Kyle Kalinske. And usually 99% of the time I agree with Kyle Kalinske. But in this particular instance, I did not agree with him. And I thought that it'd be interesting to kind of explore our disagreements on this issue. And let's just go ahead and take a listen.
So Bernie Sanders was asked a smear question during his town hall on CNN a few days ago. The reason I call this a smear question is because it's set up so that there's no way Bernie wins. There's no way he gives a good enough answer to this question because the trick is in the framing of the question. So this is like next level political chess clever here. And I'd be floored if this student really came up with the question. I think this is just like with the previous CNN town halls. There's some like, you know, third way, new democratic corporate organization that's coming up with an anti-Bernie strategy. And this is the best yet that I've seen from them. I think this is incredibly clever. And you're about to see his answer. He's going to be asked about his position on convicted criminals voting. Let's watch, and then we'll break it down.
Senator Sanders, you have said that you believe that people with felony records should be allowed to vote while in prison. Does this mean that you would support enfranchising people like the Boston Marathon bomber, a convicted terrorist and murderer? Do you think that those convicted of sexual assault should have the opportunity to vote for politicians who could have a direct impact on women's rights?
Okay, thank you for the question, Ann. And let me just
You have said
say
that you
this.
believe that people with felony
What our
records
campaign
should be
is
allowed
about-
to vote while in prison. Does this mean that you would support
What the fuck is going on?
enfranchising people like the Boston Marathon bomber, a convicted terrorist and murderer? Do you think that those convicted of sexual assault should have the opportunity to
volume
vote
coming-
for
sorry, hold
politicians who
on.
could have a direct impact
Technical
on
issues
women's
here.
rights?
Okay, thank you for the question, Ann. And let me just
You have said
say
that you
this.
believe that people with felony
What our
records
campaign
should be
is
allowed
about-
to vote while in prison. Does this mean that you would support
the fuck is going on?
enfranchising people like the Boston
Oh, somehow
Marathon
my
bomber,
audio's
a
coming
convicted
through.
terrorist and murderer?
Oh, what the fuck? Why? That was not even in the same window. I wasn't even near that window. Jesus. All right. Thank God for the ability to edit and post, I guess. Sorry about that. All right, I'm gonna as annoying as it's gonna be, I'm gonna fucking I'm gonna start over. I know that's fucking horrible, but I'm gonna have to do it. So take two. Just pretend that didn't happen. All right, so I usually agree with Kyle Kalinske on stuff. I don't agree with him on this video entitled Bernie Asked If Boston Bomber Should Vote in Clever Smear Question. This is a video from last month, and I saw it, and I disagree with it, and I kind of mulled over maybe making a video about it, but I never did, and I guess ultimately a month later I'm deciding I'm going to say something about it. And once again, I think Kyle's a great political commentator. I watch all of his stuff, and I think that 99% of the time I have almost no disagreements with anything he says whatsoever, but this is one of the times when I really did not agree with his assessment of what's going on, so let's take a look.
So Bernie Sanders was asked a smear question during his town hall on CNN a few days ago. The reason I call this a smear question is because it's set up so that there's no way Bernie wins. There's no way he gives a good enough answer to this question because the trick is in the framing of the question. So this is like next level political chess clever here. And I'd be floored if this student really came up with the question. I think this is just like with the previous CNN town halls. There's some third way, New Democratic corporate organization that's coming up with an anti-Bernie strategy. And this is the best yet that I've seen from them. I think this is incredibly clever, and you're about to see his answer. He's going to be asked about his position on convicted criminals voting. Let's watch, and then we'll break it down.
Senator Sanders, you have said that you believe that people with felony records should be allowed to vote while in prison. Does this mean that you would support enfranchising people like the Boston Marathon bomber, a convicted terrorist and murderer? Do you think that those convicted of sexual assault should have the opportunity to vote for politicians who could have a direct impact on women's rights?
Okay, thank you for the question.
All right, so first of all, the first matter of disagreement I have with Kyle is the idea that that's a clever question. What's clever about that question? So the right wing went through Bernie's positions, found one that they thought, this will be unpopular. And they say, okay, well, Bernie thinks that people who are currently incarcerated should be able to vote. Most people probably are not going to agree with that, especially before the arguments even happened. I think the default position before that issue has even been discussed by most people is like, fuck no. Bunch of criminal scum. We ain't going to let them vote, especially not in this, culture of retribution and lock them up, throw away the key. So, of course, the instant reaction of most Americans is going to be, fuck that. So all they did is take that unpopular thing. It's like, okay, well, who's the worst person we can think of that has some name recognition in fucking jail right now? How about, I don't know, the Boston Marathon bomber? So we just make it about him instead of making it about, the disenfranchisement of all these people who are incarcerated in jail. We're going to make it about the Boston Marathon bomber. So, Bernie, you think the Boston Marathon bomber should be allowed to vote? Huh? As if the issue is just about that, That's not a clever question. It's every bit as dumb to me as, when you tell someone, I'm against the death penalty. Like, well, what if your family was murdered? It's just a way of taking an argument that should be discussed rationally and reasonably and trying to turn it into an emotional fucking argument. Like, well, you believe this position, huh? Well, what if I throw in this gigantic emotional peel that poisons the fucking well? What then? That's not clever. That's just scumbag fucking shit tactics, in my opinion. I don't even think it's deviously clever. A deviously clever question would be something that sounds innocuous and innocent on the surface, but then, it forces him to reveal something in the answer that you can sink your teeth into. A really clever gotcha question doesn't even sound like a gotcha question in and of the moment. This totally sounds like a gotcha question. This totally sounds like something that anybody with a brain in their head would immediately roll their eyes at and just be like, oh my God, really? The Boston fucking Marathon bomber? There's nothing clever about that. It's not a clever fucking question. It's just your typical smear bullshit question. And of course, Kyle recognizes the smear question. He thinks it's a clever smear question. I think it's a fucking, retarded monkey IQ, stupid fuck smear question, in my opinion.
And let me just say this. What our campaign is about and what I believe is creating a vibrant democracy. Today, as you may know, we have one of the lowest voter turnouts of any major country on earth. I want to see us have one of the highest voter turnouts. And by the way, what we're seeing is more young people getting involved in the political process but not enough. And in my view, if young people voted at the same percentage that older people voted in this country, we would transform this nation. But to get to your point, we live in a moment where cowardly Republican governors are trying to suppress the vote. And in fact, right here, as you may know, in New Hampshire, the legislature and the governor are working hard to make it more difficult for young people to vote. And to me, that is an incredibly undemocratic, un-American process. And I say to those people, by the way, if you don't have the guts to participate in free and fair elections, you should get another job and get out of politics. All right? So we got to...
What was that robot look on that bitch's face?
So here is, and to answer your question, as it happens in my own state of Vermont, from the very first days of our state's history, what our Constitution says is that everybody can vote. That is true. So people in jail can vote. Now, here is my view. If somebody commits a serious crime, sexual assault, murder, they're going to be punished. They may be in jail for 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, their whole lives. That's what happens when you commit a serious crime. But I think the right to vote is inherent to our democracy. Yes, even for terrible people. Because once you start chipping away and you say, well, that guy committed a terrible crime, not going to let him vote, or that person did that, not going to let that person vote, you're running down a slippery slope. So I believe that people who commit crimes, they pay the price. When they get out of jail, I believe they certainly should have the right to vote. But I do believe that even if they are in jail, they're paying their price to society, but that should not take away their inherent American right to participate in our democracy.
Applause.
What is with that bitch? What is with her face? Oh,
For the answer. My follow question goes to this being like you're writing an opposition ad against you by saying you think the Boston Marathon bomber should vote not after he pays his debt to society, but while he's in jail. You sure about
Once again, Bernie's talking about a larger concept of, hey, even people who are incarcerated are still part of this society, and they should still have a voice. You know, especially in light of the fact that it's super easy to throw someone in jail. Like, hey, this demographic tends to vote against us, so let's put more of them in jail where they can't vote. But they're still counted on the census, thus giving us more of a fucking more of a vote power. You know, a lot of people don't realize that about this issue. Prisoners are still counted on censuses, and the population of a region determines how much its votes count for, regardless of how many people actually vote in that district. So if you got a prison in your district, all those prisoners are counted as part of that district, even though they have no voting rights in, most states. I think maybe all states except for Bernie's state. I don't know. I don't know exactly what states allow it or what don't. But fact of the matter is, they're counted on the census. They go towards the voting power, quote unquote, of your district, and yet prisoners can't vote. Now, what's my personal opinion on the whole vote while incarcerated thing? I don't know. I don't have a strong feeling on it. Honestly, until Bernie Sanders gave this answer at this town hall, I'd never even thought of the issue. So I'm still ruminating on it, but I think that if we're going to discuss the issue, we should discuss it in a fair and reasonable manner. We should discuss it as, should prisoners, by and large, be able to vote, instead of turning it into something emotional by saying, well, the Boston bomber. What about the Boston bomber? Are we really going to give him a vote? Like, well, let me ask you this. How much is one vote really fucking worth in this country? How much is the Boston bomber's vote really worth? And even if for some, in the unlikely event that Bernie Sanders gets his way and prisoners can vote, and, whatever, I don't even know where the Boston bomber is imprisoned. I guess probably somewhere around Boston. He's probably in some Massachusetts prison, right? So he's in his prison, and Massachusetts is trying to vote for governor, and it comes down to, You know, what it always does, the Republican or the Democrat. And it's so fucking close that it's down to one vote, and the deciding vote is cast by the Boston bomber. Well, it's still just a tepid choice between Republican and fucking Democrat, right? So, big deal. The Boston bomber elects the Democrat over the Republican or the Republican over the Democrat. So what? You still got basically a 50-50 split in the voting public. You know, if it's that close, it's not like, you know, the Boston bomber is not going to be able to, with his vote, being like, terrorism is now legal because the Boston bomber voted, you know? Like, what? What do you think's going to fucking happen? You know, it's not like he has the power, like you've given him the power of the vote and now America's over or something. Like, it wouldn't even change a goddamn thing. It's basically meaningless.
About that. Well, Chris, I think I have written many 30-second opposition ads throughout my life. This will be just another one. But I do believe, look, you know, this...
Bernie's basically just saying, like, yeah, they're going to use it against me, but I don't give a fuck. Which is probably, you know, we're in his position, what are you going to do?
This is what I believe. Do you believe in democracy? Do you believe that every single American 18 years of age or older who's an American citizen has the right to vote? Once you start chipping away at that, believe me, that's what our Republican governors all over this country are doing. They come up with all kinds of excuses why people of color, young people, poor people can't vote. And I will do everything I can to resist it. This is a democracy. We've got to expand that democracy. And I believe every single person does have the right to vote.
Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do here is put aside your own perspective and your own bias. We're all biased. We're all Bernie people. We love Bernie. But try for a second to understand that it's certainly possible for you to like something that he's saying, but also that this is not necessarily what's going to play with the overwhelming majority of Americans.
All right, so here's my response to that. Who fucking cares? I don't fucking care what's going to play to the overwhelming majority of Americans, but I'm going to let you make your case.
And in fact, that's a fact. So you might like it, but the media got the exact headlines that they wanted out of this. It was in every mainstream outlet. Bernie Sanders supports the Boston Marathon bomber voting. And let me give you some numbers on this. So according to...
So what? I mean, like, how many cheap shots did the media take at Trump? Did it destroy Trump? No, Trump's president. The media, like, we got to stop acting like, why don't you set aside the idea that the media means anything anymore? Why don't we set aside the idea that what the fucking, you know, Boston Globe or the Chicago Sun-Times or the fucking New Yorker or any of these fucking publications, why don't we put aside the idea that anything that they write, anything that they say means a goddamn thing anymore? Because it fucking doesn't. We live in a post-truth world. We live in a world where there's so many different sources of information beyond just the mainstream media. The mainstream media is one fucking corner of public discourse, and it's probably one of the least trusted corners there fucking is at this point, and rightfully so, because they've lied to us again and again and again. And the right wing has been really good at exploiting that. The right wing has been really smart about saying, look at all the times the media's lied to you. They're probably lying to you now. Don't trust them. And, you know, as much as, you know, and then they go, then of course they proceed to lie and say, well, you know, our lies are okay because they're really the truth. And anyone who says that we're lying is the real liar. You know, and that's the game that's being played now. You know, someone tells a lie, another person, you know, lies about the lie, and another person tells the truth about the lie, but then the truth is called a lie by both of those groups, and that's just, we just live in a clusterfuck, okay? So the media, whatever, you know, they can write their little article, Bernie Sanders wants to give the Boston bomber the right to vote. Well, you know what? It's not even really a smear. It's a smear in terms of how it's framed, but if you listen to Bernie's answer, he does want to give the Boston bomber the right to vote. And in fact, I think Bernie Sanders, you know, he should have just used the shock tactic of being like, yeah, I do think the Boston Marathon bomber should have the right to vote. And here's why. You know, because then it would be like, whoa, what the fuck? We didn't expect it. Did he just walk right into our trap? Like, no, he just sprung the trap to show you the trap is bullshit. You know, he should have been like, yeah, I do think so, but here's why that's dishonest framing. That's what I'd have done. But, you know, I'm not Bernie Sanders. He obviously has gotten way farther in politics than my ass would if I threw my hat in that ring.
To a Huffington Post YouGov poll from pretty recently, 63% of Americans say that individuals who've committed felonies should have their right to vote, but only after they've served their sentence. So while they're in prison, they don't have that, and then when they get out of prison, they get it restored. That's 63% of Americans.
Who gives a shit?
Now, what number supports Bernie's exact position here? 24% of Americans think
That's
that those in prison for a felony should be able to vote while in prison.
So here's the crux. Here's the problem I have with this line of reasoning that's being made. You're saying, you know, Bernie Sanders took an unpopular position here, and that's not going to play well with the electorate. Who gives a shit? Not me. Maybe I'm sorry. I shouldn't say who gives a shit, because clearly there are people who give a shit. But let me explain to you why I'm not one of them. Because when the Iraq War was polling well, when this entire country had been duped by the Bush administration into supporting a war, and people like me who came out against that war were called traitors and told love it or leave it, when we were told that we had to go to this war, it was a necessary war, and that there was weapons of mass destruction, and we were told all these lies about the Iraq War, you know, it was popular. It was polling well. The majority of Americans said, yes, we should go to war. And Bernie Sanders stood up and he said, no, we shouldn't go to war. Here's why it's bullshit. He didn't fucking listen to the goddamn polls. He didn't stick his finger in the fucking wind, see which way the wind was blowing, and take that fucking position. You know who does that? Hillary Clinton. And every other fucking corporatist Democratic politician. That's who does that shit. That's who sticks their fucking finger in the wind, sees which way it's fucking blowing, and takes that fucking tact to win votes at just the low price of their fucking core principles. Bernie Sanders, the entire appeal of Bernie Sanders to me is that he doesn't take the super popular position. Now, a lot of his positions are super popular, at least now. But you know what? A lot of the positions he took back in the previous election are popular now because he started the fucking discussion. Because he brought it up. He fucking said, hey, what about free college? At first, people were like, free college? What? You're crazy. But now it's a mainstream fucking idea. Now it's not so fucking crazy. Medicare for all, the majority of Americans always supported universal health care. But, you know, they didn't support necessarily the Medicare for all plan. He had to go out there and make the case for that. You know, history vindicated him on his Iraq War opposition. And maybe history will vindicate him on this unpopular position of letting prisoners vote. Or maybe it won't. Maybe it won't. But either way, I want him to give me his real fucking position, because that's the whole appeal of Bernie Sanders, is that he's authentic and he's not just saying, well, what do the polls say? Because any fucking politician can be a fucking puppet that just spouts whatever they think is going to get them elected. Bernie being the opposite of that is his entire fucking appeal. So fuck this. Oh, well, only 24% of people agree with him. I don't care if no one agrees with him. I don't care if 0% of the fucking population agrees with his position. He should still say it loud and proud. Because how else is he going to change hearts and minds? How else is he going to make the case? Whatever. It's not, you act like he doesn't have tons of other popular positions he can lean back on. You know, no one is going to vote or not vote for Bernie Sanders on the basis of this issue. It's just not going to happen. No one is like, I support Bernie Sanders, but now that I've heard about this, I'm not going to. No one's like, I'm considering supporting Bernie Sanders, but then this pushed me over the line. And even if they do, then so be it. Because he ran an honest campaign. I would rather Bernie Sanders run as Bernie Sanders and lose than run as Hillary Clinton and win. That's where I'm at. Maybe it's not the pragmatic take, but it's the principled take, and that's where I stand. So, next. Oh, fuck me, dude. Joe Biden. All right, we're going to watch Joe Biden. Oh, my God. Well, say what you want about Joe Biden, man, but if he has the ability to have a wife that sounds like that, then he is a patient man. I'll give him that. My husband, Joe Biden. Oh, Jesus. I'm sure she's a lovely woman. What is this? What am I hearing here? What is this song? I've never even heard this song in my life. Shit. I'm allergic to Joe Biden. Oh, excuse me. Ugh. Okay. Whatever. We're not gonna do Joe Biden. We're just not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. I can't do it. Ugh. I guess we will. But give me a second. So someone asked, where is your stat for extremely high unemployment from? I heard you say like 20% before. That's from Shadow Stats. So you go to Shadow Stats, unemployment, and type that into Google, and it should come up. Now, I should point out, the Shadow Stats charts have been, argued with, and I think it was Mark Twain who said there's lies, damned lies, and statistics. So obviously there's a lot of there's two different measures for reaching unemployment statistics. There's I think it's the U3 measure, which is the one our country officially uses, and then there's the U6 measure, and then there's this Shadow Stats alternative. And I'll go ahead and show you the chart here, so you can kind of get an idea. Let me just go ahead and switch to a different view here. So you see there's the Shadow Stats is the blue line, and you see they're kind of in unison for a while. Both of these start going down around 2011, but the Shadow Stats just keeps going. Basically, it's just like, hey, a lot of people never re-entered the workforce after losing their jobs in the 2008 crash, and both of these statistics, the U6 and the U3, stopped counting them. Also, a lot of jobs have been lost to automation and stuff like that. The way we calculate, even if you don't think the 21% figure is right, this ridiculous 4% figure that's being bandied about is not correct, because we're not counting all of these people who have just permanently left the workforce or who are underemployed, don't have the level of employment they want or seek. So right now, the Shadow Stats alternate unemployment rate for April of 2019 is 21.2%. And you can read about these figures and how they were come to and all that stuff. But I'm obviously not a statistician, so it's probably not my purview to do that. Anyway, so let's take a look now at our good friend and possible future president, Joseph Hansy Biden, the groper in chief, ladies and gentlemen. Joe. Why did you even wear a jacket if you're just going to take it off when you get on the stage? Just going to show how fucking blue collar I really am, y'all. Thank you. I'm Joe Biden, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being at a Joe Biden. Blibbity blue. I'm Joe motherfucking Biden, y'all. Yeah. Everybody text United to 30330 for Joe Biden. Yay. Get to the fucking speech. Woo! Joe Biden! Woo! We love you, Joe. Why? Why do you love him? What's so lovable about Joe Biden? This is just like pure Obama nostalgia campaign. This is just like, I hung out with Obama, y'all. Voting for me is basically like getting a second helping, or I guess a third helping of Obama. I'm just Obama in disguise. Pull off my mask, Obama.
The Philadelphia girl, she loves this city. I do too.
Who gives a fuck?
Paraphrase the poet James Joyce. I have to say this, folks, because I'm near my state. When I die.
Oh my God, I don't give a fuck what James Joyce said. What is your fucking goddamn policy positions?
Well, there's a simple reason. There's a simple reason.
Boo. I don't know what we're booing, but boo. Oh, he's being nice to the protester. No. Let him speak his mind now. We got to do the opposite of what Trump did. If he wants to yell and scream over my rally, we got to treat him with dignity and respect while my Secret Service drags him away. Joe. Okay, I can't do it. I can't search through this fucking long meandering speech and try to fucking weave straw into fucking gold. Okay, but you know what? Check this out. This is some good news. All right, guys. I know how many of you guys might have some vacation time or something coming up? Anyone in the chat gonna go on vacation anytime soon? You think about going on a trip? Anybody looking to take a trip, get some fucking time off? You know, if you got maybe, I know a lot of you guys, you can't really afford to take a vacation or whatever, but some of you guys, maybe you got a little money. Maybe your family's got some money. Maybe it's time to go on a fucking nice little trip, huh? Nice little vacation, nice little cruise. Well, good news, because you can come sail away with Glenn Beck, his Glenn Beck cruise. I wish I was lying.
Want to give the gift that keeps on giving?
Yeah, what is that? AIDS?
A little envelope, no wrapping required. Yes, it is a passport, and a passport can take you many, many places. Can take you to the beach where you learn nothing, but you get a lot of sun, and that's great for sometimes. Right now, our foundation...
Why are we filming him on a camera that moves around when he's sitting in one spot? Like, couldn't we have just set up a good shot that he could move around in? Or was that not dynamic enough? I don't know.
Foundations of our faith, of our freedom, of human progress are all under attack. I want to give you the opportunity to share your values, your beliefs, and the things you hold dearly with the ones you love. Yes,
awesome.
You could go to Disney and spend a buttload of money and stand in line the entire time with screaming kids. Sure, that's fun. Or you could have our first ever cruise through history.
Cruise through history, y'all. Cruise through history with Glenn Beck, man. Come chill with other conservative Glenn Beck fans and bring the family as we cruise through history.
You are going to sail the Mediterranean on the incredible Costa Luminosa out of Venice, Italy.
Awesome,
There are 4 different options, but in a nutshell, we're going to begin in Milan or Venice and then sail on the eastern Mediterranean, visiting Croatia, Greece, and Israel.
Wow, Israel, the Holy Land.
That is where you're going to walk.
Unless you're a Mormon like fucking Glenn Beck, in which case you think that America's the Holy Land.
Where Jesus walked and the prophets walked in the Holy Land, guided every step of the way. And on the sea, you'll be joined by me, myself, Stu, Rabbi Lappin, David Barton, and some others that may pop in. Of course, the amenities of the Costa Luminosa are yours as well.
That's so
along with the
awesome.
Incredible Italian food, constantly.
Incredible Italian food. What am I hearing here? All right, enough of him talking about it. Let's take a look at the fucking website, huh? Let's look at the official Cruise Through History website. So come sail away with Glenn Beck, Cruise Through History. Our faith, values, and freedoms are under attack. Join me in sharing... What the fuck kind of sales pitch is that for a fucking cruise? Hey guys, our faith, values, and freedoms are under attack, so join me on a fabulous 14-day cruise through the Mediterranean. It's like, what? Non sequitur much? So here's you go. You pick your departure date. You can leave on March 23rd or March 24th of 2020. So this is a year away. You can pick your cabin type. You can make your reservation. And you get to hang out with fucking, I don't know how I guess they must like fly these guys in from ship to ship. Because obviously if there's multiple cruises, they can't all be on all of them the entire time. But, you know, still, you get a chance to meet Rabbi Lapin. I'm told that Lapin is the French word for rabbit. So you can meet Rabbi Rabbit. You can meet Glenn Beck. You can meet fucking Bill O'Reilly. Bill O is going to be on the ship. Well, this is a year away, and I don't know if Bill's got a year. I'll be honest with you. I've seen some recent footage of Bill, and I don't know if he's going to still be around and kicking on March 23rd of 2020, but whatever. And you can meet David fucking Barton. The David Barton, dude. I mean, think about that, you know? And here's a map of the cruise back there in the background where you can't really get a good look at it. Here's the boat, you know, there's all kinds of stuff. It's got a little theater in it. It's got a pool in it. It's got a dance hall or something. Is that the same pool? I guess that's another pool. It's got multiple pools, all kinds of pools. And it's a cruise. You can have 3,000 people on there. Wait a minute, what the fuck? So wait, there's 2,826 people and there's 1,050 crew? Damn, that's a lot. So that's like, man, there's almost like as many fucking crew as there is guests on that motherfucker. It's one crowded boat. Boat's 965 feet in length. So that's a lot of people jam-packed onto this fucking cruise. But, you know, you can get some pretty nice rooms in there, though. Let's take a look at some of these reservations, because I'm pretty interested in chilling with Glenn and the fucking gang. So, yeah, you get all look. I mean, they don't really let you take too good of a look at any of them. But this looks nice from the fucking minimal picture I could see. All suites, too. Look, here's this one. This one's just big enough to fit a bed in, so that's pretty cool. How much is this? Oh, okay. Classic interior. So the minimum you could spend is $4,995. That's prices below are per person based on double occupancy and include airfare, hotels, transportation, cruise, and tips. Okay. So, I mean, that's not that bad, I guess, then, if it includes airfare and shit and hotels. You get the premium tier. This is per person now. But if you want the grand suite package, it looks like they reduced the rate, too. It's only $8,995 per person. So that's not too bad, you know? So if you and your wife or whatever the fuck you have want to go on a cruise together, it's just like a cool fucking nearly 20 grand for you guys to go and maybe possibly sniff a Glenn Beck fart on the fucking Glenn Beck, yeah, on the deck of a fucking cruise ship, man. And I'm really fascinated. I mean, as much as I want to meet Glenn, I think the one I'm really looking forward to meeting is fucking Bill O'Reilly, man. I mean, Bill O'Reilly's success in broadcasting and publishing is unmatched. It's unmatched, y'all. It's fucking unmatched. How are you even going to fucking argue with it? You can't argue with it. I mean, look at him. Look at this gentleman. He's got a YouTube channel. Oh my God, Bill. Bill, for fuck's sake, dude. This video has 6,949 views. I mean, I've never even seen a view count quite that high before, you know. And Bill, he used to be on Fox News where he got 3-4 million views, but now he's getting about 7,000 views because he has a YouTube channel. And Bill O'Reilly has a net worth of about $85 million, but apparently decent hair and makeup people must cost $86 million because Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, basically at this point, he's just a series of liver spots that have come to life.
A interesting PC cultural issue.
Welcome to my nightmare.
I hope you're looking forward to it because it's a
Dude, you look so bad. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ.
So
there were 3
All right.
monster hits.
Okay.
In the 1970s.
The 70s are the most un-PC era ever. So this video we're watching of Bill's here. I want to switch to this actually. This video we're watching of Bill's here is movies that could never be made in today's PC madness. So let's take a look. He's gonna play or what? Let's play this motherfucker.
I want to get the precise information here. So National Lampoon's Animal House.
Could never do that today.
And the Boys.
Never do it. Wow, isn't this so great? I mean, like, wow, he's so fucking professional, you guys. I mean, like, I do a show where I've got pieces of paper in front of me, and if I have a moment where I'm like, okay, so I edit that the fuck out. You're worth $85 million. Hire a fucking editor. Hire a lighting person. Definitely hire a fucking makeup and hair person, because Jesus fucking Christ. You are, I mean, like, I don't know, man. You got the money. If you're going to do this, hire some motherfuckers. You're really going to tell me that this fucking guy who has a YouTube channel where he can't fucking scrounge 10,000 fucking views together on any given video and looks like a liver-spotted, doddering old idiot, you mean to tell me that this person, according to this fucking cruise website, has an unparalleled, unmatched success in broadcasting and publishing? Bill O'Reilly's success in broadcasting and publishing is unmatched. This fucking video begs to differ. Look at this. Look at this. Come on. You know damn well that like, this is not... If this was just a guy doing this on his own that had never had a big Fox News show and didn't have $85 million, I would respect what he's doing here in terms of putting this set together and stuff like that. But the fact that this guy is a multi-fucking millionaire with tens of millions of dollars, and he could put some actual money into this fucking production if this is really what he wants to do. I mean, really, he should just fucking retire. He's got enough money. He's old enough. He should just retire and just do these fucking political cruises for the rest of his life, because it's not like anyone's tuning into this horse shit. But you're going to tell me that this guy who's currently disgracing himself with this horse shit has some kind of unmatched fucking prestige in the broadcasting industry? I don't think so. The iconic anchor of the O'Reilly Factor led that program for years, did his fucking bullshit status. He led 16 years, sorry. In addition, he's authored an astonishing 15 #1 ranked nonfiction books, including the historical Killing series. Mr. O'Reilly has 17 million books in print. He has been a broadcaster for 43 years. He has been awarded 3 Emmys and a number of other journalism accolades. Yeah, well, none of that really matters too much when currently he's this. Sorry. I mean, like, can we upgrade the quality of this? Can it go above 1080p? That's as far as it goes. Let's just fucking, I mean, just look at this. This is an old man with liver spots who is not well lit, who is not well audio recorded, who does not have that impressive of a set for a guy with $85 million. And now, obviously, you know, when they say that your net worth is $85 million, that doesn't mean you just have $85 million in, like, you know, cash. But still, he's got a considerable amount of money where he could put something together. If he really wanted to do this, you know, get yourself a fucking teleprompter, get yourself a crew, pay those motherfuckers, and try to put something together that's decent. I mean, even fucking Glenn Beck, when he went independent, was able to put something together that looks halfway fucking respectable. Like, Glenn Beck's an old dude, but I don't see 1,001 liver spots on his ass. His hair is gelled. You know, he has a crew shooting this. He has some fucking proper lighting. He has a proper set with some fucking, with depth of fucking field and shit like that. You know, he has his logo emblazoned on a fucking coffee cup. You know, I mean, I hate that I have to give props to fucking Glenn Beck for putting to himself. I mean, like, he even looks more presentable. You know how bad it is when Glenn Beck looks more presentable than you? Jesus. No wonder you're fucking, no wonder you're doing a fucking cruise. to make some money. I wonder how much Glenn Beck and Bill O'Reilly are making off their conservative cruise. I wonder if they could even fill a fucking cruise. I wonder if enough of their fans actually give enough of a shit about them to go all the way to the Mediterranean and hop on board a cruise ship with them. I'm going to assume probably not, but maybe so. I don't know. Who fucking knows? Anyway, that's pretty much what I got for this edition of, Abandon Hope. Hope you guys enjoyed what I fucking did here today. And if not, I'm sorry. I did my best. Yeah. Whew. So maybe I'll see how you. What'd you guys think? Good, bad, mediocre? What was your favorite section? Tell me your favorite part. Maybe I'll go through a quick recap of everything I did. So I talked about my movie reviews over on Letterboxd. Did any of you go over there and follow me on Letterboxd? Let's see. Nope, I still have the exact same amount of followers. All you motherfuckers, go create Letterboxd accounts and go follow me on Letterboxd, because you need to know my insights into all films in existence. Then I fucking, oh my god, this horrible How to Be a Better Ally to Non-Binary People article that I fucking tortured myself with. That was horrible. That was pain. Then there was Rick Wiles on abortion. This Chris Rock story we only talked about briefly. The weed propaganda from the 60s. Brian Fisher talking about gays in the White House. Quentin Tarantino fielding a bullshit question. Kyle Kalinske being wrong for once. Tried to do Joe Biden, had to abort that one. And then Glenn Beck and Bill O'Reilly's wonderful cruise through the Mediterranean and through history, I guess. Whew. I don't know. What do you guys think? What was the best thing? What was the most magical thing? Oh, and I showed the kitty cat. That's true. I did show the kitty cat. Always a great show. Hail TJ. Well, thank you. Oh, man. Refresh the movie thing. Refresh it? Okay. I will do so. Nope, I still only have 50 followers. You lied to me, sir. You lied. You lied. Maybe I'll wrap this up by reading yet another review, though. Because I'd like to end at midnight on the dot, so I'll fill a little bit of time. Let's just do that. So, let's see. More. Let's do it by release date. It's the oldest movie I reviewed, Blazing Saddles. Logan's Run I just watched yesterday. The first time I'd ever seen that. I'll read that one to you because I did write a lot on that. This is Logan's Run 1976. There's like 10 pairs of tits in this PG movie and at least 3 asses. Yeah, that threw me for a fucking loop. Because I noticed there was a lot of, like, the girls in the movie were wearing kind of revealing outfits, and I was like, well, I'm not going to see any tits in this because it's PG. And the next thing I knew, there was, like, tits everywhere. And I'm just like, how the fuck is this PG? I mean, I understand 1976 had different standards. The PG-13 hadn't even been invented yet, but I thought that when you showed a bunch of tits in a movie, usually it got rated R. I've seen PG and PG-13 movies that showed a pair of tits before and got away with it. But I've never seen a fucking PG-13 movie that was just rife with tits. Especially when there was like a big orgy room in this fucking movie. Like at one scene in the movie, Logan and his love interest, whose name I forget, I think it was Jessica maybe. They go through a fucking weird orgy room where everyone is like writhing around in like sexual ecstasy and shit. I'm like, how the fuck is this PG? There were people at different standards in 1976, is all I know. Anyway, the movie has an interesting concept, but some awful special effects. And before you tell me the effects were good for 1976, I will remind you that Star Wars came out the next year, and they both had similar budgets. Star Wars budget was marginally higher. Logan's Run had a $9 million budget. Star Wars had an $11 million budget. But, you know, I mean, Star Wars was a way more ambitious movie. I am totally convinced that with a better special effects team, Logan's Run could have done way more with its $9 million budget than it did. The guns in this movie are a joke. You don't see any beam or hear any blaster effects. They fire the gun and sparks appear wherever it was supposed to hit. Do the sparks look cool? No, they look like goddamn 50-cent fireworks. It was about the lamest goddamn thing I've ever seen in my life. You know? They'd grab the gun and they'd shoot it, and you'd see some sparks fly out of the end of the gun, and then you'd see sparks appear wherever the invisible projectile was supposed to land, you know? You don't earn anything for these, fam. I don't care. I just want I'm reviewing movies for the soul, the beautiful joy of reviewing them. Some more random special effects whining. The miniatures used to represent the futuristic city are horrible. I've never seen worse miniatures in a movie before in my life. At least not a movie, you know, like a movie that's this recent, quote unquote. Like, I've seen some terrible miniatures in maybe like some 1950s movies or something. Like, oh, it's a UFO, but it's really just a paper plate on a string or something. But the miniatures in this looked awful. There's a scene of a cave-in at an ice cave, and it has to be the most ridiculously awful effect shot I've ever seen. It should have been cut from the film. It was an absolute joke. I mean, it was wretchedly bad. Like, they had superimposed a picture of ice falling over the actors reacting to it, but the ice, I mean, like, maybe I could show it to you. Maybe I could find it, and you could just see how fucking actually laughable the scene is. If anyone bothered to upload it, which I wouldn't have. Logan's Run, Ice Cave In. Maybe this is it. Yeah, here we go. All right, I want you guys to fucking be witness. I'm going to put it up here. I want you to be witness to the horrors of this. All right, so here's the scene. I'm going to play it without sound so you could just focus on the amazing visual effects. Like, you got to be kidding me with this shit, right? I mean, that's got to be the worst fucking special effects shot I've ever fucking seen in a big budget mainstream movie. Even for 1976, that's unforgivably not good. Sorry. I mean, that's fucking beyond the pale horrible. The scenes depicting the weird carousel ritual of the society were also bad. And also involved underwhelming spark explosions. But in this effect, in this case, the bad effects were hilarious, so I give them a pass. Yeah, there was this ritual. Well, for those of you who don't know, Logan's Run kind of concerns a society, and I guess I'm going to explain the premise in the next paragraph, but I'll explain it again just to explain this carousel ritual. It's a society where everyone is killed at the age of 30. And they're told that, you know, oh, well, maybe you can be renewed if you participate in Carousel, which I guess renewal is some form of rebirth or something along those lines. And you get in this weird circle, and then you start to float, and then you go up really high, and then you explode. But you don't explode in a cool way. You just, like, they just superimpose like a like a bad firework with lots of sparks exploding in front of you, and then you're dead. You know, so it's really horrible. The premise of the movie is interesting. It's a society where everyone is killed when they reach 30. Most people have been brainwashed to be fine with this, but some people run when the time comes. Where do they think they'll run to when the entire city is encompassed in a huge dome? That's what Logan, the titular hero, is meant to discover when the central computer that runs the city sends him on a mission to discover Sanctuary, a place where runners can live free from the system that tried to have them killed. Logan's adventures lead him to discover a lot of dark and hidden truths about his society, and I'd be spoiling the movie to talk about, or I would be spoiling the movie to talk about, but suffice it to say that I didn't actually always know where the movie was going. Unfortunately, where it was going was a poorly explained deus ex machina that leaves you scratching your head and wondering what the hell you just saw. This movie's kind of a shame. With a few tweaks, it could have been a 4 to a 4.5 star movie, but as things stand, it gets 3.5 stars from me. Now, I'm going to go ahead and spoil it for you guys because I don't care about you as much as I care about my precious Letterboxd audience. But the deus ex machina that I talk about is the central computer plugs itself into his brain, a la the Matrix, and it sees all of the experiences that he had beyond the barrier of the city, and for some reason that like short circuits the computer and makes the entire city fucking explode. Like what? What does that have to do with anything? But yeah, it's awful. I mean, it's not awful. You know, it was actually a pretty cool premise and some good scenes and even some good performances here and there. But wow, weird ending and a lot of stuff just not properly explained and or explored. So yeah, fuck that shit. Still got 5 minutes to kill. Goddamn. What else? What other review can I fucking read? You guys have already seen the Misty Green Sky because we did a fucking show for you patrons that involved that. Love the Fly. That's a great movie. Older. Oh, this is a movie. I fucking really hated this fucking movie. This is one of the movies. I watched this movie. Hostel Part 2. I'd never seen the first one. I just watched the second one probably a little under a year ago. The Bathory scene is the only reason this gets a star. I wanted this movie to shock me. I heard this was nothing but sheer torture porn. The reality is that it's nothing more than sheer torture to watch. For the first hour, nothing happens. Then things start happening, but they're all disappointing. If you're into poorly written and underdeveloped characters having meandering conversations about trivial nonsense, then this movie is for you. If you're looking for a good modern gore feature, probably any one of the Saw movies will do you better than this punch-pulling disgrace to the sacred gore flick. Fuck that movie. Fuck it in the ass, fuck it in the mouth, fuck it in the west, and fuck it in the south. Here's an interesting one, Tourist Trap. Do you like confusing drivel? Do you like plot twists you can see coming 10 million miles away? Do you like telekinetic powers whose properties change depending on the demands of the scene? Do you think there's nothing more terrifying than a dude wearing a doll's face and talking like Popeye? If your answer to all those questions is yes, this movie is for you. So hopefully someone out there just said, that does sound like the kind of movie for me, and is now going to watch it. Someone said to read a funny one. I feel like I like what I did with this review of The Neon Demon. This is something Paul made me watch, by the way, which he swore is like, this is brilliant, this is brilliant. So here's my interpretation of it. This is a pretentious movie that inspires a lot of haughty opinions from self-important people, both for and against the film. One critic's review on this site made me gag, it was so full of itself. So I will be brief, and I will try to resist the urge to sniff my own farts. This movie reflects its protagonist well. It's pretty, but it's also kind of boring. And while it seems like it's saying something about the commodification of women and their bodies, the message is not, at least to me, super clear. The main character, Jessie, goes to LA to become a model. Everything is going pretty well for her, despite the occasional dark and crazy thing, until a bunch of other models murder and eat her to attain her beauty. Deep? It seems like pretty blatant symbolism, but what exactly is the takeaway? The modeling industry is bad. Being a vapid twit who only cares about looks is bad. The male gaze is bad. Female competitiveness is bad. I don't know. Something is bad. I think it's this movie. Boom. Boom, bitch. Boom. That's how I feel, man. Can't even take away my feelings. You don't know. No one knows what it's like to watch The Neon Demon and not be impressed with it. because it kind of sucked. Where do you get / watch all your movies at? I don't know. Netflix, Amazon Prime, fucking. That's pretty much it, really. But I'm assuming that there's probably gonna be movies I'm gonna want to watch that I'm not gonna be able to find there easily. So in that case, I'll have to figure out other ways. But that brings me to about the mark I need to be to. It's midnight now. Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. We're going to probably start. I'm going to stop streaming. Got some research to do for the next DFF because it's my show. Kind of gave myself a full night to to work. It's good stuff. I love working all night. It's my favorite. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you have a good one. And if you didn't, I apologize.